Oh, enough of that sort of stuff. Hi, hello, good evening. It's just gone 1.5 minutes past 8. It's a very warm day. This is Paul English Live 146. Hope you all had a cracking week. Let's have a cracking few hours. Welcome to the show.
Wake up your mind, fill up your day.
Ooh, I don't know what that
smart
is.
little vibes that brighten your way.
Ooh, that's no good. What's that? I played the wrong thing. Oh, it's a good job they can't hear Eric. It's a good job they can't hear Eric laughing in the background. That was just strange. This will change me. Anyway, let's start again, shall we? That was the Food for Thought radio jingle. Wasn't it lovely? Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm getting grief in my lug hole from everybody else in the studio. Why not? It's got so warm here today. I feel as though I'm sort of just oozing around on the floor. Is it similar where you are, everybody? I guess it might be something similar. Everybody, good evening to everybody on WBN 324. We're here immediately after Alex Jones, which I was talking to someone at WBN the other day, and they said it must be quite a jolt for you all. I guess it is, really. You go from Mr. Jones to a bunch of Herberts over in England. So anyway, maybe you'll hang around with us for a couple of hours. We're here on WBN from 8 till 10. We're also, of course, on Food for Thought Radio from 8 till 11. If we can make it to the end, I don't know. If we've got enough water to keep us going. Very warm day here today, as I was just saying. Still is. I just took a little... about half an hour ago, I thought, I haven't stretched my legs all day, and I didn't really stretch them, but I just went down to the coast, which is an exotic thing for me to say, but it's true. I did, because it's only a 5-minute walk. So I went down to the coast, and it's looking great. It's looking really good. Lots of seaweed around. They're liking the sun. So we have a very low, long draw here at the beach, and so it's all very green, and if the sun keeps up, it might get a bit pongy round here. If you've ever smelt clouds of seaweed odour, you'll know what I'm talking about. I also noticed that the propellers out in the sea were actually turning, and I couldn't help but think that all they were doing was just putting currency in some filthy person's pocket who doesn't deserve it. But they were actually turning. There's a light summer breeze here. It's all really rather fragrant and delightful. Anyway, somebody who's been inland all day and probably padding around inside the library of Fockham Hall and getting his smalls done is Eric von Essex. Eric, what's it been like over at Fockham Hall today?
It's been very nice, actually. Yesterday I tested out my new electric bike, which I had homemade jobby. Very nice. Well, it's a bit different, let's put it that way. But today, it's been very sort of... I've been busy doing my DIY work, bashing nine bales of hell out of my neighbour's car.
It didn't need repairing. You just wanted to bash 10 bales out of hell out of it.
Yes, that's it. Yes, no. Actually, somebody collided with it. Poor soul.
Oh,
he's had this car for a long time, since 2007. And it's absolutely immaculate. Well, it was before about a week ago. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he's quite pleased with what I've done. I'm not a car repair sort of bodywork repairer, but I've got it roadworthy for him. No, I mean, I do mechanical bits and bobs, but not bodywork. And it's looking rather nice, actually. I'm quite pleased. So there we are.
John,
and,
that's good. What colour is his car? Or what was it before you started?
Silver.
Is it? And it's still silver. Does it look a bit bruised?
Yes.
Silver.
A bruised silver. And he managed to get a rear lamp cluster, which was smashed, off of eBay second-hand for 20 odd quid. So there we go. That's not bad, is it? So
I love it when
he's
people
more than
say.
chuffed.
I love it when you say things like light cluster. It's a nice phrase, isn't it? A cluster.
Light cluster.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's good.
Wankel rotary engine. That's. I'm getting a bit embarrassed now.
It's a little bit early for that sort of thing around here, Eric. It's only 6 minutes past 8 and I've not even had a gin yet. So, steady. Hold your horses, man. I think, actually, also, we're going out quite cleanly. I shouldn't say these things, should I? People who've been listening in for the past few weeks will know that it's been the technical trouser fandango around here a few times. But as far as I can tell, I think everything's solid on Rumble. So shout out to you all in Rumble. I see that Warren's there and I'm there. I actually, writing to myself, I wrote a great comment. I was really good. Herodotus is there. Notice how I don't do the whole thing, Herodotus, because I'm a very well-mannered chap. And somebody called Eric Von Essex is there saying greetings all over the place. So that's in Rumble. So we appear, tickety-boo, to be going out okay. We're also over on YouTube. So shout out there. Good evening, Mark Anthony, who says good evening, Paul. Very polite. This is the sort of thing we like. Blu-rays there. Smashing the likes. Good evening. Yes, smash them. Oh, yeah, I never say that, Eric. You always do. Stick your thumb up, as it were. Thumbs up to all of this. Just say it's great, even if you don't think it is. Of course, you do think it is. You wouldn't be so cruel as to tell me that you don't think it's great. Alice is here as well over in YouTube. It's interesting because many of you used to be on Rumble and now you've just sloped over to YouTube. I don't know what you like. It's sort of video platform tarts. It's ridiculous. Yes, who else? Very early days. I can say everybody's name. Hatchie's here. Good evening, Hatchie. Eggy. And Nuki Brown's here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I haven't had a Nuki Brown in years, actually.
No.
So, yeah. So, good. Everything's going... And actually, Eric, there may be a reason why it might be going well. So, I always start off with some incredibly dry, dull, tedious technical story of the week. I've always got too many to tell. I could just go on and on and on and tell you about wiring and things like this. But... you know how last week was it was a bit hairy last week. It was a bit mad, actually. It was completely bloody mad.
Yes, it went naughty bits up, didn't it?
It really did,
rather,
yes. It was extremely vexatious and very much in tune with saucy, cheeky British seaside humour, which is what the show was supposed to be about. Unfortunately, the joke was on me, big time. Anyway, earnestly, I got up at the crack of dawn, although she'd left a little bit earlier, on Friday morning. And I contacted my internet supply company. And we've had the same cable running into this house since 2001 because we were part of the NTL network. People may not remember them, but they got bought up. Everybody gets bought up in the end. And they got bought up by someone. Maybe it was directly by Virgin Media, who are currently my supplier, and I have got no complaints about them at all. They're absolutely fantastic. But I called them up. I said, look, I've got this cable, you see, that runs around the house to the radio shed, and it's been out in the fresh air for 25 years. And I think it might not be, in good health. Could you come and have a look? So they said, sure. So they send a bloke round called Mike, I think he was. I probably got his name wrong, but he was extremely cheery. He was good, and he came round a bit early. Hope you don't mind I'm coming round early. He said, no, said I. It was like one of these really theatrical sort of exchanges at the door. It was really good fun. He said, do you mind if I have a look at your equipment? I said, certainly not, sir. Get stuck in. So off he goes, and... he comes up to me, like, Eric, you'll have had this when you've taken a car into a garage, although maybe you don't because you're a skilled chap at this sort of thing. But this is a sort of atypical scene where they look under the bonnet, all these mechanics, they all start shaking their head, and you feel like an idiot, and they're going, oh, that's not right. And they're looking at you as if, what kind of fool's been driving this car? That kind of look. So it wasn't as bad as that, but it was in line with that. And he said, I'm surprised you've been getting any internet at all. I said, really? I said, we've got loads of it. I can't get enough. He said, well, this really shouldn't be working. And he showed me this sort of splitter that was on the line that split it into two. Is everybody riveted by these tales? This is exciting stuff, isn't it? I thought we'd start off...
I'm off my seat with excitement.
Yeah, I know.
It's really...
I thought if I plumbed the depths of the mundane, it'll make everything else seem moderately interesting, won't it, after this point? Do you see what I'm saying? There's this method in my madness. And so he shows me all these little wires, and he said, I'm going to take that off, and that'll make it work. I said, okay. He said, hey, do you want a new router? I said, hey, am I going to have to put my hand down? He said, no. I said, well, of course. Why did you ask? Give us a new router then. So he said, this one you've got is 18 months old. I said, well, it's been working perfectly well. He said, that sort of mumble. So he gives me a new router, which is lovely, I suppose. It's just, not that you sit around looking at your routers going, isn't that lovely? It's just a box, right, that does stuff. You don't pay.
Well, I do.
Yeah. Do you? Stroke yours. Give it a nickname. Rodney the router.
Yes. Well, my one's that's right. My one's 5 years old and it's still going all right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this was fine too. It was the cabling. Anyway, so he sorted the cabling out in the house. And then I said, well, yeah, that's actually not really the problem, although thank you for fixing that. I said, it's round here. So he came round to the rear end, as it were, where the radio shed is. I've learnt too many terrible verbal tricks from you, Eric. It's awful, really. You can see how my banter's just gone right down the toilet. And he whips his meter out, as you do, and he said, let me test to see how much you're getting. I said, I'm not getting any these days, but whatever. like that one. So he puts his meter on. He said, oh, no. He said, you're getting full whack here, which is 500 megabits a second. I said, really? Mm-hmm. He said, yeah, look. So it turned out that there was something in the office right here. The cable turned out to be fine, which is quite impressive, really, because it's out there.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad. And, it's all sort of pinned up. Everybody's excited about cable pinning, aren't they? Come on, that's what you tuned in for.
That's right.
And so it's all pinned up and pretty good. And I had an Ethernet splitter box here, and it was old. I'd completely forgotten about it. And so it had a maximum sort of debris, which should have been easy to cope with the thing, right? It should have. But obviously I went, right, so I'll get rid of it. So I went off and I put my hand down and I spent £21, which was a bit... Oh dear,
that made my eyes water.
Yeah,
a pain in the wallet.
It was for this little box. I couldn't be bothered waiting. I just drove over to Curry's for a curry, and then I went into this electrical shop afterwards, and I picked it up. And hey presto, everything has been working really, really well since. So I know that was tedious, and well done everybody for getting through it. But that's kind of what's been going on. He was also good enough. He said, "Oh, any of you got a mobile? Are on the O2 mobile phone network?" And I'm not, but my son, who was hanging around playing chess online or something, said, I do. He said, okay, give me your details. He said, right. He said, this might take a week or so to come through, but this won't cost you any money either, but we're about to double your internet speed. I said, great. So we're up to I don't know if we're up to a gig a second yet, but we're going to have 1,000 megabytes per second, which of course will make no difference at all, because it's not what comes into your house, it's how slow it is out there. Not that it's slow, I'm not moaning. I'm still sort of amazed by the internet, to be quite honest, like a big dork. So there we go.
So same here, but
yeah.
But I've got no cable coming. I mean, I used to have what they call Cat 5 cable, and it went up to Cat 7 or something. It's called a Cat. I don't know quite why.
Yeah.
It's all the different levels of cable. But no, I've actually got my router I bought, and it's actually there's no cabling at all. It's using a mobile phone SIM card.
All right.
And yeah. And it works a treat, and you just wire it straight into the back of it.
Works a treat, right?
Sometimes when it's yeah, up to now.
Right.
Trouble is, when it wee-wees with rain, you tend to get a lower signal, and if it snows, you get a lower signal. But apart from that, it's all right.
Okay.
So,
well, anyway, everything's to be tickety-boo here, so I'm very happy. Of course, we've got nothing to say this week. That's the problem, really. But technically, it's going really well. No, I'm just teasing. Yeah. Actually, somebody just wrote in. We were talking about the thing, and someone was put some. Alice Gorgeous said summer breeze, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I should dig that up and play it. We all get la 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 about summer. Billy Silver writes perfectly blue sky, which sparked me off because the other day. Now, where is this? Oh, yeah. Have you heard of this social media network called Blue Sky? Have you heard of it?
Nope.
Well,
No.
You don't want to, frankly. Now, I'm going to give you the search term that I put into Google. Seriously, this is what I wrote. Mm-hmm. Is Blue Sky a haven for a left-wing haven and network for sodomites? That's what I typed into. All right.
It's a good one to put in, yeah.
Here's what came back, confirming all of my deepest, darkest, and repulsive suspicions. No, it says, Blue Sky is not inherently a left-wing network or a platform designed for any specific demographic. Isn't it tasteful, isn't it? It is decentralized, open-source, microblogging, social media platform available to the public. The platform's user base comprises a wide variety of people, though it is often colloquially described as having a generally liberal-leaning demographic. This reputation developed largely because many individuals seeking an alternative to the political shifts on platforms like X migrated to Blue Sky. And then below it, from Yahoo, there's this thing that says, A Queer Guide to Blue Sky, the gays' chosen alternative. So, everybody, you've been warned. It keeps coming up on sort of woke networking companies and social things as something good. And I know when X finally decided to at least move in the right direction, I'm not saying they've moved absolutely there. I mean, we've only got so much time to monitor all these things. There was this big sort of kickback against it by people that, so that's it. That's great. I hope they all go to Blue Sky and then we don't have to go there. That's absolutely fantastic. I know they say it's a terrible thing to condemn people without actually hearing the evidence, but I've heard it and I don't want to hear any more of it, to be quite honest. So there you go. So there's one to stay clear of, everybody, if you're a normal, decent chap or chapess. So there we go.
Telegram still fine. I use Telegram. I use Facebook and WhatsApp less. I don't. In fact, I don't use them. I think they're. I say don't use them. I do use them to promote the show. But Telegram, I'm on most of the time because I find Telegram, you can say what you want and do what you want. And the next one is Gab, but Gab is being booted out of Australia apparently because the Australian naughty people don't like people speaking freely in Australia.
No, Gab's good. I've noticed this is something about our behaviour and habits, isn't it? It's like, and I include myself. I'm not saying I'm impervious. I've been on Gab ever since it started. I think I sort of signed up about 3 months after it launched. The thing is, it's really difficult as an English person to contribute to it. I'm serious. Unless I've got Bitcoin. Otherwise, I've got to go through banks and all sorts of other things, and you can't buy certain subscriptions because you're outside of the US. So I found it rather difficult. I think it is a good platform, but the thing about these things is they just require masses of sort of up-to-the-minute investment all the time to make sure that they don't fall behind the other ones. The fact is that the toys and the twinkly bits and everything tragically work, and therefore they generally come to market, from the people that have got all the money. And it's not Gab, unfortunately, but he is doing a great job under tough circumstances. I think also there's so many decentralized approaches. Did I mention the other week? Not that we need to talk about these things all night at all, but did I mention this thing called Tree Chat? I don't know if I mentioned it the other week.
It seems good. I've looked at it.
It's very difficult. I ain't got my brain around it yet, but I've decided my brain's getting too soggy for sort of new things these days. But Tree Chat looks really, really interesting, and no doubt at some point soon they'll get sort of live streaming on it. That's bound to come. So, and that's one that's in line with all the BSV stuff that I talk about from time to time. Certainly on Monday nights with Gary, we're always talking about that, but that's a place for that. That's it, Eric. I'm wiped out. What else have you got to talk about?
Well, also, the government's thinking of banning VPNs, so you won't be able to get onto BitChute. I mean, I've got a platform on BitChute, and I get quite a good audience on there. But the trouble is that you can't get on there in Britain because the government has censored it. It's not necessarily censored it. I think BitChute, even though they're located in Swindon in Wiltshire, and they're actually an English firm. They got worried because the government's made so many threats about taking them to court and this, that, and the other about the right wing and all this lot of nonsense. That they've run scared. So you can't actually get it unless you go through VPN, which of course slows your computer down when you're trying to upload anything. But I do get quite a big audience on there, and BitChute is rather good. But that's just the pain, I mean. But
didn't they start off at the Isle of Man? BitChute. It's set up by a UK or an English chap set it up. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I thought there was in Swindon in Wiltshire.
Yeah, I think they had to move to the Isle of Man. Maybe they moved there for tax purposes or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's just, these things have come and gone really over the last 20, 25 years. You forget which ones were good and have disappeared. There's still some I don't know. It's just a funny sort of space, isn't it? Because we've got this thing about the UK's social media ban coming up for people under the age of 16, supposedly, right? And there's a bit of me that actually couldn't care less about it because I don't like social media. What I wanted to say was anti-social media. What do you think? Do you think it's got something?
But it's not only that. It's when you want to do searches and things like that. Because I've got an iPad and it updated itself overnight.
Oh, nice.
And next morning it said it wanted my debit card details to prove my age. So I virtually told me to get stuffed. So then it wanted my driving licence details. I told them to get stuffed again. So I can get onto WhatsApp and Facebook, but it doesn't bother me because I don't use it much. But I can't post anything from my iPad on there.
Right.
But that will spread to Google and other places, I'm pretty sure. So you're going to have to say who you are and what you are before you can get onto the search engines. And that's why I generally use Yandex, which is Russian, which is very good. So I use Yandex and those type of things because, was it Quack Quack Go or whatever it was? Go, what was that one?
Go Duck. Duck Quack Go Duck Duck. Yeah. Or
Something
Duck
like
Off,
that.
wasn't it? Something like that.
But that became establishment when you thought, allegedly, I believe, so...
I like that word, allegedly. It's good, isn't it? Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly. So everything that we say here is allegedly, okay? We don't know what we're talking about, really, do we? It's all allegedly. But we can't say that all the way through the show. It'd be ridiculous.
Well, we was talking about the Fockham Hall Times, which hopefully will be a autumn and winter project, because I think we're going to go back to newsprint. I really do believe that, because you cannot ban underground press, and underground press has always done well. So, but we got to be careful, about mentioning names and things like that. So it's always allegedly and things like that, because the problem with anything satirical, you mention a politician, and 2 or 3 weeks down the line, they're old hat. People have forgotten about them. I mean, in a couple of months' time, who will remember Keir Starmer? He'd be gone. There'd be somebody else. I mean, I don't know when they're going to elect the new geezer that's going to come.
Oh, he's already in, isn't he? He's just all an assumptive doobrey or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to sort of even get too interested in the whole thing because we just know it's more of the same and probably worse. And on one level, I resent having to talk about politics, but as the thing is, it just keeps banging into your life and cocking it up all over the place. It is really rather remarkable, I think, as well, just how incredibly sort of wet they all are. I mean, people have been saying this for years, but it's becoming sort of ludicrous levels of simplistic, childish thinking. And like they do not have any idea of a thing called a fiscal policy. Now, on one level, we could say, well, it doesn't really matter because the usurers are running the whole thing anyway, and we're all using currency, and it isn't really money, and the whole thing is completely... I mean, I just think it's a totally artificial economic space. The problem is that the people who've got their hands on the levers of control are completely, mangling up this nation. We're not alone, but they're definitely mangling this one up by design because, they're ultimately commies. That's really... I still think the old word's the best.
That's right.
We're dealing with commies.
And every government has to be usury friendly. Otherwise, you don't get anywhere near government. And one person who ran a political party had a part of their policy was abolishing usury, and he was approached by some gentlemen in suits who said, "You will drop that from your policy documents,
your manifesto." Yeah.
That as well, your manifesto, or we'll destroy you and your party. And they did do that. They destroyed him and his party.
That was Nick Griffin, wasn't it? Wasn't that Nick Griffin?
Allegedly.
You're very good. You've got into this really quick, Eric.
It's gorgeous. It says, poly more than one, ticks, bloodsuckers.
That's right. Absolutely. Many bloodsuckers. Yep. Has anything been going? It's all been World Cup nut job round here, hasn't it, really? It's all... Warren's first comment tonight, before we'd even started, he's obviously burning at the bit about this, and I've mentioned this several times. He's always repeating. He says, the football team called England, see, he's catching on now, the football team called England is not English. This is true. It is an African team. Well, actually, it's a hybrid when you look at it, really, Warren, if we're being really accurate. Allegedly, it's a hybrid. No one can ever become English. This is true. You are either it or you are not. It doesn't matter. No one can ever become French. You're either born French or you're not. We don't even have an English national anthem or an English king. This is true. We don't. In fact, the king is not a king. Did you know that, Eric? He's not a king at all. I think I might mention this the other week. Yeah, he's a liege lord. Liege. That's what he actually is.
Really?
He's a liege lord.
I thought it was a bleeding Norman.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Norman.
Well, maybe they're tapping into all that kind of stuff, but it's certainly not a true monarch of this of England, because England doesn't exist, does it? In terms of communication, it's always the United Kingdom or the British or Britain, and this sort of amalgamation of things. While the English have no voice here in England. Well, we've got this, haven't we? And you've got the chat rooms, and we're bigging it up, and we are doing good, actually. I mean, it's a lifeline, if nothing else, and that's worth a lot.
We're one of the most discriminated races.
Of
Seriously.
course. Yeah.
Because we don't.
Are you saying that
voice.
racism is being practiced against us, Eric? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Allegedly.
Yes, I mean, when you think about it, allegedly, yes. According to where is that chappie's? Is it English Constitution or something like that?
Yeah.
And I don't want to misquote him, so please, I apologise in advance if I have or going to. He reckons that it was the English who abolished slavery because we knew what it was like because we've been slaves all our lives.
Yep.
To the Normans.
Yep.
So we were ones that pushed it through. Yep.
Hang on, just a minute. Is that an American? What's this? Hello American.
young
Sorry.
It's an American. It's a bloody American.
Someone's come
Are you
all
still
across
in
the
New York?
Atlantic to be in the show. Hello, Paul. Well done. How are you doing?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you still in New York, mate?
I just swam the drink, and boy, are my arms tired. Anyways, how can you have a liege lord without having a feudal system? Don't they go hand in hand? Doesn't that actually say that you're all serfs and all slaves to the crown?
In fact, it does. If we had a crown, but of course, maybe the crown they think that we're serfs to is the Crown Corporation of the City of London, not the crown that sits on the monarch's head, because we don't have a monarch. It must be sitting on a liege lord's head who's impersonating a monarch. It gets complicated quick, this, doesn't it?
Okay. I know who it is. I know what it is.
Yep.
You have a liege lord that is the lord of the manor. The only question is, who is a resident of the manor? Okay, now I get it.
All right. I don't know. Am I a resident? I don't know.
The last king of England was Harold, and he's buried in Waltham Abbey. And I can show the grave to prove it. So
Do you think we could dig him up and reanimate him?
Last one.
That's what we need to. We need
He's
to
let
reanimate.
himself go a bit recently.
No,
Yeah.
Frankenstein
Make no
tried
bones
that.
about
It went badly. Frankenstein tried that. It went very horribly wrong.
He did. That's what today's picture's about, by the way. Those of you that have seen it. Of course, if you're on WBN and maybe just on FFT, you won't have seen it. If you go to paulenglishlive.com, you'll see the glorious picture. I'll give you a bit of background on it, actually. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. I can't be bothered to try and match it because I never know really what we are going to talk about. I just go, I like the look of that. We'll have that. So, well, it's difficult. And you can try and find a segue into it. Of course, it's an image drawn by a wonderful American artist, Paul. Wonderful to me when I was a kid growing up. Yep. A chap called Bernie Wrightson, who's no longer with us. He used to draw comic books in the 1970s, horror comics. And he went on to just keep refining his art. And he came up with a whole book on Frankenstein. And that's what that's from. Okay, that's in the lab, and that's the monster a bit cross and holding Dr. Frankenstein by the short and curlies and by the lapels and getting him clear about something, probably that they've run out of toilet paper in the lab or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it's fantastic illustration. It really is. It's brilliant. So, sorry.
I think it. And he was kind of like Edgar Casey, wasn't he? He wasn't like a prognosticator. He could see the future, and he did a beautiful job of emulating your Paul English Live logo gear there.
Oh, he did a great thing there.
Fabulous job of that.
That was fantastic.
He did. And in color.
And that lab, actually, although I don't have the glass bits, it's pretty much like what it's like here in the radio shed. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that well organised. Seriously, chaps and chapper. This is why someone said, "Can you take a picture?" I said, "No, we won't be doing that. I don't want to give out any evidence for any more abuse about things, and we don't want any of that." So there you go, Bernie Wrightson, and cracking chap, and did some just really wonderfully evocative stuff. You know, I really loved all those 1950s American horror comic books and stuff. Not because of the content or the stories, just the illustrations and what they were trying to do and stuff. And it evokes a sort of very 1960s, early 70s, late 50s kind of feel of, you know, what science fiction stuff was like back then. It was all, it was just, you know, it was before CGI, and in many ways better for it, really. It had a sort of, you know, they had better plots and things. I tend to think so.
They used your imagination.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was the thing.
I used my imagination.
I mean,
once.
It's like, well, it's like the old schoolboy, won't call it a howler, but the old trick question, you know. Did Boris Karloff act the part of Frankenstein? And people always say, yes. No, wrong. He actually the part of the monster.
The monster.
The part of Frankenstein.
Anyway, although I didn't advertise it, we have a guest for this evening, and she's calmly and very politely waiting in the wings, and I'm going to bring her on after a song, because I've got a few songs tonight, so I thought we'd put a song on, and then we're going to bring her on. Kizzi, who was on about a month back, because we were having a conversation the other night. We're going to kick it off into a certain direction. So this is from, you remember I've played stuff by Mr. and Mrs. English before? Mr. and Mrs. English, you remember that? If I can just find the damn thing. Where did I put it? Because I pressed the wrong song the first time round, didn't I? Which was really, really bad of me. This is called Due Process. And after this, Kizzi will be joining us in the studio, and we're going to move into some interesting areas, I think. Here we go. Bit summertime disco-ish, I guess. Something like that.
Petitions in hand, sick of all the mischief sweeping over the land. False accusers throwing shade for revenge, dragging folk to council just to settle their ends. Kings writ flying like a DJ gone rogue, pain and punishment dropping heavy on the stroke. But the people said enough is enough, we're resetting the play. Old law of the land gonna light the way. Presentment before justice is matter of record. No more backroom summons with the crown as the shepherd. Due process rising like a baseline swell. If you break this rule, void in the law, oh well. Made by the English, still stands today. This beat was made by the English, not the British. Hear me say, 42nd year of Edward's reign, and the law still stands today. In the rhythm, oh Lord, in the sway, this beat was made by the English, and it still stands today. Red original dropping like a kick drum thump. No man answers charges from a secretive slum. Governance for the commons, justice for the crew. 1368, but the rule still feels new. Accusations for profit, nah, we shut that down. No more council ambushes in Westminster town. If they try it again, the statute's clear. Void in the law, error, disappear. Old law of the land, raise your hands for the old law. Raise your voice for the commons call. From Westminster Hall to the club tonight. Due process keeps the people's right. This beat was made by the English, not the British. Hear me say, first to make Westminster truth, it's void in the law. If they drag you in without writ or cause, the statue drops the hammer and the crowd roars.
Due Process by Mr. and Mrs. English. I think they just released that recently, so there you go. That's another one in the line. If you listen to the lyrics, of course, it's all about the English and not about the British. How about that? Anyway, somebody who's just joined us, who also is, I'm pretty sure, English, is Kizzi. Hi. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm English. Apart from my right leg is Dutch.
Is it really? Why? Is it made out of
Dutch.
cheese?
No, you don't.
You don't want a cheesy right leg. There's nothing.
That's a cheesy joke. Paul. That's crap, actually. That's terrible. No, my grandfather was from Holland, from the Netherlands. So my right leg means I'm quarter Dutch. I think it was my right leg. It could have been my left leg, but I think it's my right leg. And of course, my children, my offspring, so they're from knee down, because they're an eighth Dutch, and they're not sure if it's their left or right leg either. I don't think it really matters, but
no,
yeah, but mainly English. I'm English, yeah, English,
yeah.
English.
Maybe that little Dutch blood though might go some way to explaining your kind of brassy, upfront behaviour at times. Do you think?
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, they're quite forward, the Dutch. I love them for that. They are.
So
I've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
They have just come straight out with it, right in your face. It's really direct. It's lovely. It's very refreshing, I think.
It's called WYSIGIG in the computer world. Do you remember WYSIGIG? Do you remember that?
No, what's that?
WYSIGIG, what you see is what you get.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's what they used to say. Yeah, WYSIGIG. Oh, is that me clicking or is you?
No, it's me. I got things going on. Be quiet, computer. Yeah, it sometimes dings. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I think that is the Dutch. I love the Dutch as well. They're just great, strong. They look great. They're just great. I love the Dutch. I'm very, very happy to have a right Dutch leg, which isn't wooden and it's not cheesy.
No. Well, it puts a new spin on this show. It's really quite interesting, really. We've all gone, whoa, yeah.
Well,
anyway.
Especially, spinning with that music, Paul. My goodness me. I was not in a great, happy mood today, but listening to that Mr. and Mrs. English, I love it because I'm a bit of a disco diva.
Are you a disco bird? Yeah.
I bet. A disco bird. Handbags and all that. Yeah,
great. In the kitchen, dancing around. Fantastic. All the ladies that tune into this show, the gracious ladies, are doing exactly the same thing. So I don't think you're alone. I think this is very, very good. It's good. It's excellent.
Old school stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Not necessarily. I just loved supporting them with what they do, because they keep knocking songs. They knocked another one out. It was 6 minutes long, and I went, it's a bit too long, really.
Oh, no.
But you could have it on your show. You could take a really long break. You go powder your nose, do everything.
What are the plants? No, I'd be just dancing longer. An extended player, I think they call that, don't they? EP?
Yeah, maybe.
Long
I think
player
they do.
EP, yeah. Good old days. None of this other stuff. So because now you don't even have. I was going to call them VDs. No, CDs. Is it CDs? You don't have CDs now because it's all on Spotify and stuff, isn't it?
I hated
Bring back
CDs,
the vinyl.
though. Did you like CDs?
Did you?
Oh, the rattly little plastic cases. Well, I've still got loads of musical bums left, music albums, of course. And I just loved all the sleeve notes and the whole sort of experience of albums. And then I got these little sort of plastic rattly things. It's that hard plastic and it doesn't feel nice. And everything about it is sort of like tinny. I know the sound isn't and all that kind of stuff, but,
And they do scratch. They do scratch because they came out with that guarantee they do not scratch, but they do, don't they?
Oh, they bloody do. Yeah, I used to have did you have a CD player in your car? I used to have it. I go, I'll listen to this. No, you bloody won't. I'm not having that. And it just spit it out all the time. It's really, really irritating. Actually, but just on the music as well, Mike Mantis says, any links for the music, Paul? Go onto YouTube, Mike, and look up Mr. and Mrs. M.R. I think it's an ampersand and Mrs. English, or a combination thereof. They lost. They just sent me a channel. Mrs. English just sent me a message the other day saying they'd lost their first channel because YouTube obviously were crying about it because they're talking about things, which is great, fantastic. Well done for losing a channel. They've set up another one. I can't tell you exactly what it is right now. Sorry, I don't have it to hand. But if you go and have a look, you'll probably find it. And they keep sort of banging a song out every couple of weeks or something. It's great. So
it is great. It's great. I love it. I love the words. I love the rhythm. I love the name, all of it, and what they're talking about. Yeah, not everybody loves it, but yeah.
Well, we'll have to get all of you to change your surnames to English soon. I mean, I did it years ago, and this is what it's all about, you see. It was like being prescient, really seeing ahead. That's what it is. It's the English that we've got to talk about.
That is good, but, I mean, since I got divorced, I'm trying to go back to my Dutch name. So,
What's that?
If I
What's
go back,
that? What's your Dutch name?
Heinink, which
How's that spelled?
reaches apart. H-E-I-N-I-N-K. H-E-I-N-I-N-K. I used to spit it out of school. Heinink.
Kizzi
What?
Heinink?
H-E-I-N-I-N-K.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Well, it reaches apart, so others can't reach. Do you remember the advert? Like Heineken.
Yeah.
So that's
me. Yeah. I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I never drank it, though.
Dear.
Yeah, no, all
Really?
good stuff. No, I wasn't a Heineken drinker, really. Well, I was up north back in the 70s when all that lager nonsense came out.
Brown ale. Yeah, you had
Yeah,
proper
sorry, I
beer.
still... Yeah, well, we had
Proper
good
beer,
beers
lad.
up there when I could drink
Yeah.
the stuff, and I can't drink it these days, but I really quite enjoyed all that kind of stuff.
No.
Apart from dancing to the song and finding out that your right leg's made out of Dutch cheese, you must be really busy right now, because haven't you got some massive party or something coming up this weekend?
Well, yes, it's called, what's it called? God, what is it called? Shine and Rise.
Yep.
Shine and Rise. Yeah, it's a gathering at Bosham, just outside Chichester on the Sussex coast, West
Right.
Sussex. Yeah, it's not a massive thing. It was never supposed to be a massive party or gathering or festival or conference, whatever you want to call it. It was just gathering of people that are like-minded, that want to have a good time and talk about nice, positive things, frequency, energy, vibrational, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, an awake bunch of people. But there's probably some people that aren't quite, they might be aware that something's going on in the world. If you're not aware now, for goodness sake, you need a slap around the face, don't you, really?
Is there going to be any of that? Are you going to be slapping people around the face? I'd come down for that. I'll be the chief slapper. We could come on and get hit. We'll knock some sense into you. That would be great.
Well, we could quiz them, couldn't we, when they come in, when they get their little wristband, and you could say, how awake are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And that means, how many slaps you get to wake them up. That will wake them up, actually, wouldn't it? Especially if it's with like a wet fish or something like that.
Yeah, I'm a big loss to the events management world, I can tell you. I can come up with ideas like this all day long. You were talking just then wristbands and stuff. I just got a new... I got a new smartphone the other day, but I can't be bothered to set it up. I just cannot be bothered. I just looked at it. It's been in a box for 2 days. I took it out, looked at it, said, do all this. I can't be arsed with that. I just want you to work. No. I've done it so many times before in the past. You just go, bloody hell. I've got to go off and buy a cable to make it talk. But the thing I was going to mention is that they cheekily also sent me free, and I didn't want it, one of these sort of... human bio wristwatch things. Here you go.
Oh, bless them.
Yeah,
bless them.
I'm going to wear that.
We know where you are. We know what you're doing. Do you know, somebody came in my neighbourhood, and I've been here, 2 years actually this month, and it's quite a nice neighbourhood. It's a little village that's turned into a town because they're building all houses on the fields. And this big gate opened next to my house, and a bloke walked out, and I thought, let's be jolly and say good morning or good afternoon, evening actually, it was the evening. And then I looked at his ankle, and he had one of the things you're talking about, but more serious. He had a thing round his ankle. He's obviously from the local prison. He's out on a day release or something. I thought, I'm not going to say hello to you now because it's a bit scary. Don't know what you've been in there for. So yeah, just sort of likening that to your Apple wristwatch or whatever. I don't know.
I don't want to demean the company because they make good phones, and I think they just send it to me.
Do they?
So, well, I don't know. Is there such a thing as a good
Apple?
phone? No, I don't use that kind of stuff.
No, it's a Samsung or it's an Android.
Yeah, it'd be an Android. By the way, this is really boring anal technical stuff, but more people listen to this show over FFT on Android devices than anything else. How about that?
Do they?
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
They do. I think that's quite common, actually. So, I'm trying to knock it out and get some sound processing going, and it comes out of these tinny little speakers.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you, that said, the sound on these things is pretty impressive, isn't it, these days? It is, actually.
Well, everything is. I mean, the cameras are, your whole life is on these bloody... I mean, I'm holding one in my little grubby hand here because I want to read you something in a second, but our whole life is on these stupid little things that we are all addicted to, and that's the plan, isn't it? And that's the plan. And now the fact that they're giving you freebies to put around your wrist or around your ankle, I mean, how do we get away from it? How do we get away from it? Although you could, because you could have non-Android or non-Google phones, can't you? People are making these non-Google phones, so they're not watching you. But I had one of those a few years ago, and it was useless. Because when I wanted to, do some banking, I couldn't put a banking app on it. I couldn't put, where's the directions? Anything I wanted, I couldn't do. So it's in the box. It's just stayed in the box. So that is the thing. And they know that. They know that with these phones. They know that we become addicted to them. But we could be disaddicted to them. We could unaddict ourselves, I think.
It's going to be a biggie. It's going to be a biggie. It is huge. I mean, there'll be more people crying over that than just about anything else, I think. I mean, it would just...
No, you're right.
And the whole world would literally stop. I mean, you go, hang on, it can't be that important. I'm going, it bloody well is. It's just like the glue that's holding everything together right now. If that goes down, the whole civilization's over in about 2 weeks.
Wouldn't it be nice, though? But it would be nice because you go back to the old days, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we might go back a bit too quick, though, and there'll be a lot of casualties along the way. It'd be so fast.
Well, there would.
Turbocharged, wouldn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because the new generations, they're born with the phone coming out there, comes out before they do, doesn't it, really? So I think that is the thing with these... Yeah, it might as well. The new generations, they would not know what to do. They would not know how to drive or where to go in a car, because that's the thing, isn't it? When they say, I'm going up to, let's say, I don't know, Birmingham or Scotland or anywhere, they really have no idea on a map, because they just put it in their phone, drive a bit, stop at a few service stations on the way, and then they're there. But they have no idea. And I know this for a fact, speaking to young, my kids and their friends and stuff like that. They don't know where they are. They don't know if there's a sea there. They don't know if they're next to front. They don't even know if they're in England half the time. And it's really scary. It's really scary because it's taken away their thought process. They've just plugged it in and off they go. Might as well have stayed at home.
Yeah, they might as well. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we do sound like old farts, don't we? I guess it's because we are. Yes. It's really funny.
Yes.
Can't read a map. What's a map?
What's a map? That's true.
I've still got old road maps in here, these big things, and I keep them because it reminds me of being lost. We talked about, there's something good about getting lost. Seriously, I always... Everybody gets frustrated in the car. Have you gone the wrong direction? I always remember my mum and dad slightly squabbling, not badly. My dad would give the map to my mum, and she wasn't very good with maps. I mean, it's not a woman's thing, is it, directions? Seriously, I just don't... Look, you're brilliant at some things that wear crap at, so kick me back in the shins with that one. But I remember, like, my wife was absolutely useless. I mean, literally, but perfectly useless. So she said, how do you know where you're going? I said, this is the time, the sun's there, we're going northwest.
Oh, gosh.
And she would pick it the wrong way. Not every time. Like, it was perfectly wrong all the time. I thought, well, at least it's consistent. We can work it out. So I said, whatever your first choice is, reverse that and you're going to get there. It was amazingly funny. Yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet. As long as you didn't shout at her and you knew.
No, I'm not a shouty type. I only shout at you and Eric and people like that and people on the show when I want to get into it.
Technical stuff. Yeah, I do. But I mean, that's a nice thing, isn't it? I guess maybe it's partly because, and I'm not taking what you've said, I'm taking it lightly because I can read a map. Maybe not correctly, but I can read a map and I do love maps. But maybe this is also because men are supposed to be the hunter-gatherers. You're supposed to go out and go and bring the dinner back, aren't you? Whether it's from Tesco's or it's whether with a spear or a gun or something. And we're supposed to cook it and make it nice. So maybe that's why we're not designed to look at maps.
No, I don't think you are. I don't think it's a big deal either. Like, we're not designed to sort of tidy up. I don't mean this in the tidying sense, but make a kitchen work well. We're just not good at that sort of stuff. We just do a thing and bumble on, and then it's a wreck. It is round here anyway. Yeah. It is.
Well, we've got roles, we have roles to play, haven't we? And I think, actually, the way the world has gone now, they've mixed those roles up quite a lot. And a lot of the people that have been mixed up in the mix-up are happy to have been mixed up, if that makes sense. Like, if I say to somebody, well, you're a woman, so, you're better in the kitchen, they might go mad, say, no, I'm not. I'm better at map reading, or do you know what I mean? So we've all got a little bit confused, and I think there's a bit of deliberate manufacture in that, because then it just breaks down community, family, society. We all get a bit confused. We don't know if we're a boy or a girl or if we're a lamppost. It's all gone a bit bonkers.
It has. I think all that stuff has removed, slowly but surely, a lot of sort of hidden sweet little moments that used to just naturally exist all the time. And I know this is sort of like nostalgic stuff and all that kind of stuff, but nostalgia ain't what it used to be, as Yogi Berra, the baseball player, once said. It isn't. But like my mum used to do baking. We used to have a baking day at home. when I was growing up, and it was Wednesday, and Wednesday was just awesome. Me and my brother couldn't get back from school fast enough because the smell in the house was just amazing. My mum had baked, as we got bigger and ate more cakes, she ended up baking 3 cakes. It started off as 1 when we were little, then it went to 2, then it went to 3, and then there was tons of stuff. She said, don't you eat it all, I want some left by Friday and stuff. But when your mum's made a warm chocolate cake that's cooling down with the cream in it, right, and it's still got a bit of warmth in it, you just go, but I've got to eat now. I've got to eat it now.
Mine.
I said, all right then, so we just, all those little things. I know, but of course, women were being oppressed, but if you met my mum, you wouldn't think so. She was just singing and happy as Larry in the house and just loved it, and we loved her for loving it and for loving us in return, It was just a great thing. Absolutely wonderfully warm thing.
And it's a lovely face, lovely family memories. Like you say, it's nostalgia, but they're happy things. And she wasn't being made to cook or bake. It's just a nice thing that she liked to do.
It was. I mean, what will people have memories of now? They'll say, what was your childhood like? Yeah. Oh, we all used to eat TV dinners. Then I went to my bedroom and played Xbox or whatever, and looked at my phone all night, and then find out how many people, digital contacts, liked me and stuff. There's something missing. It's not that it's in itself bad, it's just that it's pushed everything else out, that it seems to me. But then, I'm not in it really, and I'm unlikely to be in it.
No, you're right, because I think young people now, they don't even know how to chat up a girl in
I still don't know how to do that.
You still do.
I could do with some lessons in that. I was absolutely crap at it. I bet Eric was brilliant at it, but I was just bloody useless. I had no idea how this works. What's going on? It's ridiculous.
Is Eric still there? Eric, he's
he'll
still
be
there.
there.
Is he gone?
No, he should
I was going to say, Eric, because we could ask him, if you said he's good at it, I'd like to know what one of his chat-up lines are then, because I think we need to help the young people, the young men, the young boys, because I think they're scared because they haven't got, they haven't done it. They just talk to people, like you say, online in their bedrooms, and the girls in the other bedroom in another house. So, it's gone all these youth centres and social centres and clubs. It's just really, really sad. I think it's really, really sad.
Got any good chat-up lines, Eric?
Well, yes. I mean, at my age, I say your teeth are like the stars; they come out every night. That type of thing.
That's crap, Eric. Sorry, that wouldn't work for me.
Wouldn't it?
No.
Feel like a vampire or something.
Start again.
No, I'm talking about false teeth. I'm talking about.
Oh, false teeth.
Yeah. Well done for having a go, though, Eric. I think it's quite brave
done.
of you. Yeah.
But you failed. Yeah.
And your perfume is so beautiful; it keeps all the flies away. That type of thing.
Did it work? Did it actually work?
No.
Did you get any?
No, it didn't work.
Some unknown reason. I don't know why. Hello.
All right, love. Do you know, I've got one that a woman used, somebody I know, a friend of a friend kind of thing, she used on this guy that she fancied. They're on she was on a walking tour holiday, and she had the bit of the hots for the guide, and apparently she phoned him up in the middle of the night, and she said, Ian, I've got a problem. He said, what's that then? She said, my bed's too big. So he went round and filled it up. I thought, what a great chat-up line. They're still together years later. Isn't that a great chat-up line?
Yeah.
What did you do? Fill it with pillows or something?
Yes, pillows, cheesecakes and Edam.
Yeah.
Took some cheese round. There you go, love. That'll keep you.
Yes.
That'll remove all that extra wriggle room.
I've always used the line, excuse me, I was supposed to meet somebody here that was going to get me drunk and take advantage of me. Would you be her?
That's a good one. Yes.
Well, that's better than the other one. Yeah.
Is there really, though, such a thing as a chat-up line? I don't think there is there? I think that...
Do you come here often?
Yeah.
Isn't that the traditional, hello, love, do you come here often? And then you get slapped round the face.
No, I always used to think the best one was, all right, love, get your coat, you're pulled.
Oh, that's good.
Do you like that one?
That's good.
Get your coat
that's
on.
good.
You're pulled.
Get your coat. Well, that's masculine. As long as you've got a motorbike or something outside, a horse or something,
But you're a motorbike gal, aren't you? What are you telling me?
Well, I just like sitting on the back of them. I mean, and going somewhere, not just sitting on the back.
Outside the house. You can come in now for your tea. I just want to sit here all night.
Yeah, I do. I love motorbike. I love the freedom of motorbikes. I don't like having to put a helmet on my head, but I love just being on the back of a bike. And I mean, I did have a license to drive one, so I did get that a few years ago. And then I got myself a little bike, little 125, and then it rained for 6 weeks. And
Nice.
so I just lost my confidence. I didn't go on it. So I sold the bike and I thought, I'll find somebody else's bike to sit on, which is what I did. So then I did. I went off on a fabulous tour around Ethiopia. I found a guy that does tours. He wanted to take men on bike or other people with their own bikes. But I said, look, I haven't got one, but I'm very happy to sit on the back of your bike for 2 weeks. And can you take me around Ethiopia? And that's what he did. And it was just brilliant. It was just absolutely brilliant. So, and my brother, he used to have a bike. Yeah, he used to have a gold Honda Goldwing, is it? I think, I don't know, 750, a big one. Yeah, nice, be comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, nice sofa. And we'd just sit on it. I'd just sit on it, and he'd sit on it, obviously, because he'd be driving it. And off we'd go anywhere. And I didn't mind that we'd go up to London in the rain, or just go anywhere. I just absolutely love it because it's freedom. I think it's just freedom, which I'm up for freedom.
What about electrically assisted pedal bike? I mean, do you think that's where I'm lacking a little bit, with the ladies? So,
Well-
hello, darling, would you like to see my electrically assisted pedal bike?
Well, no, again, no. That's a fail. Sorry, no.
Oh, dear.
It implies that you're not. I bet not so capable, adequate, masculine enough. I don't know. Because there's something about a nice big bike that just, I could get saucy here, so I won't. But no, a pedal bike, it could be for certain ladies, maybe. But can you take a passenger? Can you have a pillion on a pedal bike? Pillion on a pedal bike?
Sit on the handlebars.
You can do if
Oh,
you've
there
got
you go.
strong thighs. It's pretty tough. You can when you're a kid. When you're
Yeah, when you're
a
a kid.
mate and your mate gets
Yeah,
a puncture and he says, "Will you give us a, can I?"
Yeah.
You do that, and then you go back and
but
mend
you
his
crack
bike.
the screen.
Yeah.
But your skirt will go over the screen, so I can't see what
Oh,
level
the
of-
screen. We're back to screens. Of course, it's not the good old-fashioned. You'd have a screen to tell you where you're going, wouldn't you? It's not like
it's a
Daisy.
screen that
Daisy.
tells you what your power is and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, right. Oh, so it's a
Yes.
renter pedal bike.
No, it's not a renter pedal bike. It's a
What do you-
own made one. I made my own. But it's got
Oh,
a
you-
screen
oh.
on it. Yeah.
Oh.
But it's got a screen on it that you press a button to want how much power. So if you're going up a hill, you give yourself a bit more power. And if you're going down hill, you give yourself a little bit less power.
Oh,
Save on
that's not
battery.
so bad. If you've made it yourself, that's quite impressive. Now, if you that could be
It
a
runs
good
on
chat
drill
up line.
batteries. It runs on drill batteries. Seriously.
What's a drill battery?
Well, when you
Drill?
got electric drill. people
Oh,
put
and you plug
batteries
them
on
in.
Yeah. So
Oh.
because so I can. They're plentiful.
So you
and
charge
they're
it.
cheap. Yeah.
Ah.
And I've plug the batteries in.
Okay.
So there we go.
So I suppose it's quite. It's something to talk about, isn't it? I
What
guess
about
if
a classic car. I'm also
Yes.
a classic car owner.
yes, especially if it's a
19
topless one.
No, well, it's almost. It's a moonroof. It's got. It's a 1989 Toyota Carina with a
That
slightly
sounds quite
modified
nice.
front. I actually, what happened is the garage door bashed into it. The car. Now, there I was sitting, and this garage door went straight into the side of it.
So it's
a
modified
marble.
it.
I'm looking forward to seeing a
Slightly.
picture of the electric bike, Eric. That's what
And
we
the
need.
car.
Yes, it's all wires and that. Yeah, it's actually an old mountain bike which I converted.
And did you know
So,
in England, Kizzi, you were just talking about convertibles and stuff with the top down.
Yes.
Percentage-wise, England own more convertibles than any other country in Europe. Do you think it's bizarre
That's
considering
bonkers.
what the weather? And we're
that is
such
bonkers.
optimists. Oh, I'll pick up in a minute.
I know.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. The bird in the side
but my
getting hail
neighbour-
hitting her on the forehead and making her forehead go numb. It'll be all right, love. Don't worry. Sun's coming out in a minute.
Take your umbrella.
Yeah.
I used to have one. I used to have a Mercedes Sports convertible. It was my dream. Before I got to 40, it was on my list because I had this boyfriend years ago and he had one of these Mercedes Sports and I thought, I want one. I'm proper little madam. I want one. I'm going to get one. So I thought I'm going to save up and get one. I did actually get given it for my 40th birthday from my now ex-husband. So, he did something right. And it came with a little or big pink ribbon all wrapped around it. And I was just so happy. I was so happy to have this car. And I think what it is, maybe that's why we've got more in this country because we really appreciate it. Like that's why we talk about the weather because when we do get a sunny day, we're all
We go
very,
nuts.
very happy. We do.
Look, the sun.
And we try and
Remember
grab
that?
it quick.
Quick, get out into it.
Yeah, get out
it's
to
very
do
eccentric.
something.
It is.
Yeah.
We had a convertible Mini for
Yeah.
years, and it was an absolute blast of a car. It really was. It was
Yeah.
just great. This red Mini, and when you took the hood down, it's not that it went quick. It just feels quick in a Mini with the roof down. You just
Yeah.
got this, and it's like a little go-kart, and you're shooting around. But look, we've just come to the end of the first hour. We'll move on to more
Have we?
serious things. Although
Gosh.
I'm quite happy to talk rubbish like this all night
Yes.
long. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, we're at end of hour one. We're here on WBN 324 and Food for Thought Radio, and on Rumble, and on YouTube. YouTube, and it's all going tickety-boo. Now, tonight's picture, I just talked about it 25 minutes ago, this illustration by Bernie Wrightson, and somebody even mentioned in the chat this track that I'm about to play, which you'll all know, and it's completely not in keeping with the time of year or anything, but so bloody what. This is, you'll know what this is. Here we go. We'll be back after this. Oh, my lumbago.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5. They played the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" It's now the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It's caught on in a flash. It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool, Drac's a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. Then you can monster mash and do my graveyard smash. You'll catch on in a flash. Then you can monster mash. Mash! Ooh! Easy, Igor, you impetuous young boy. Mash!
And that was, of course, Bobby, Boris, Pickett and the Crypt Kicker 5 with the Monster Mash, and I bet everybody here remembers that, don't you?
I remember it.
Yes. Very clearly, yes.
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 As I said, completely not in keeping with
Bit
the
deadly.
summertime song. Yeah.
Bit
Absolutely.
deadly, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit deadly, yeah.
Bit deadly. Yeah, fantastic. Great stuff.
I don't like it, actually.
I was trying
Didn't you
to
like it?
forget
Did it upset you, Kizzi?
No.
Did it?
Didn't upset me. It's just I couldn't put my handbag down and dance around it, really. So.
All right. Well, we've got some.
Sorry.
I've got another thing. I don't know whether it's a dancey one or not. We've got some more coming up. It's just wacky around here. Yeah, we might have something jolly later on, something like that. What we were talking about, not that it was necessarily right on mark with everything. Anyway, you mentioned earlier, Kizzi, that you had something on your phone. Maybe.
Yeah. Now I don't know if it's appropriate to read this out. It was just sent to me. So can I read inappropriate things?
Of course you can.
It's sort of. I can. Okay.
You can.
So it's a bit-
And remember, if it's casting aspersions, you can use the word allegedly. We've been talking about this in the first hour.
Yes.
So allegedly, and then we're covered. You see.
Allegedly.
Yeah. There
Well,
you go.
allegedly, it's kind of satire. It's supposed to be a bit of fun.
Right.
But I might get called, or I didn't write it. I'm just reading it, and allegedly somebody wrote it, and then allegedly I'm reading it. Okay, I don't know when to fit the word in allegedly, so I'm just covering all sense. Just covering my bits and
Yes,
bobs. And
well
I'll
done.
read it. All right. Here we go. So it says, It's a joke, by the way. It's a joke. Okay, so it says, I am truly perplexed that so many of my friends are against another mosque being built. I think it should be the goal of everyone living in a town to be tolerant regardless of their religious beliefs. All good so far?
Mm-hmm.
Thus, the mosque should be allowed in an effort to promote tolerance. That is why I also propose that 2 nightclubs be open next door to the mosque, thereby promoting tolerance from within the mosque. And we could call one of the clubs, which would be gay, the Turban Cowboy, and the other one, which would be a topless bar, that would be called You Mecca Me Hot. Mecca Me Hot. Next door should be a butcher shop. Should I shut up or carry? Am I right?
No. Keep on.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Continue.
See right through. Come on.
So not much. We're nearly there, allegedly. Next door should be a butcher shop that specialises in pork, and adjacent to that, an open pit barbecue pork restaurant called Iraq of Ribs. And across the street, it's very clever. Yeah. Across the street, there could be a lingerie store called Victoria Keeps Nothing Secret, with sexy mannequins in the window modelling the goods. And on the other side, a liquor store called Mohammed. Not Mohammed, Mohammed. All of this would encourage Muslims to demonstrate the tolerance they demand of us. And yes, we should promote tolerance, as you can do your part by passing this on, which is what I'm doing on this radio show that Paul's invited me to. And if you are not laughing or smiling at this point, it is either past your bedtime or it's midnight at the Oasis and time to put your camel to bed. There you go.
Sweet. That was good. Sweet. I like that. That's completely acceptable round here, allegedly. And
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Thank
Fantastic.
you. Thank
but
you.
it
No
actually
slaps.
does tunnel into serious topics, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yes, that's what I saw.
Well, there was a topless bar near where I lived.
Ready.
You're ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready for...
Yes, I was absolutely ready to give you a... when you first started that, but I came around right off the bat. I'm telling you, that was amazing. It was brilliant.
Oh, allegedly. Oh, that's good. Oh, good. I see.
There was a topless bar near where I live, and the barman kept, as you're going through the bar, he kept licking the woman's breast. I thought it was a bit strange, I said, so I said to the girl, why does he keep doing that? And he just accepts it. She said, well, he's got a liquor licence. It's all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like that adult bookstore in Minneapolis, Minnesota called Lickety Split.
Bloody hell.
And here we are trying to talk about,
I'm trying to be English around here. Oh, my God, it's just a river of smut at times.
That is English. Well, that's English sense of humour, isn't it?
Yep.
That's what we love. Our sense of humour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric, that is just like the adult bookstore in Minneapolis, Minnesota called Lickety Split.
No, I'm not going to comment on that one. I'm just thinking
it's just as bad.
It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
It's just as...
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, the sluice gates have opened now. It's all over.
Yes,
it.
Quick, Paul.
Quick, let's get back on topic. Whatever it was. It wasn't this, I can tell you. But the tolerance thing. Look, I bang on about this thing. I think tolerance is a disease myself. I'm quite serious about it. It's weird. I don't think... I mean, if you actually think when you're operating at your best, you're not going around tolerating stuff that you don't like, are you? It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. Oh, I don't like that, but I'm going to pretend that it's okay with me. This builds up like pressure in a pressure cooker, and you find that you're all stewed, a bit like steak that you've cooked too much. It doesn't go good.
Well, it's like you're putting up with something that you don't agree with.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah.
There's some, I can't remember who it was, Margaret Mead or somebody like that back in the 1930s wrote something about tolerance, saying it's the creed that believes in nothing, therefore will stand for nothing and is worthless. That was the gist of it. It's an utterly worthless position to take. And of course, they've drummed into us, only us, by the way, that we've got to tolerate all this stuff because inherently they know that and biologically and culturally and everything, we can't tolerate it. We don't want to in our home. That's the difference. It's about location, you see. I keep coming back to location. It's got nothing to do with whether you like or don't like other people. It's to do with where they are. And so everybody seems, you get all these sort of lefty types saying, no, we can take on more people. I mean, have you heard about this German woman? creature. She's a female. Woman's a bit too rich to describe her. She's some parliamentarian who's saying that she wants white people to not have any more babies at all. Have you seen this?
No.
Yeah, it's absolutely off the charts. I mean, she's obviously articulate, and I suppose in one way must be classed as being reasonably intelligent, whatever that, but completely barking mad, and is probably totally unaware that we now account for about 8% of the world's population. And of course, whenever you see these charts, they're always talking about the oppressed masses or something like that, and it's all our fault. But going, hang on, just a minute, mate. The numbers don't add. Who is the minority now? It's us. So the minority that have only got a small part of the planet anyway, which we've made reasonably fruitful with our endeavours over hundreds of years, is apparently in the wrong for that, and we've got to tolerate it being destroyed. I mean, that's what it means. You must tolerate everything that you love and your way of life being ripped up around you by people who really shouldn't be here. And I just put really in to soften the blow. They just should not be here. Even the word should's a bit soft, to be quite honest. So it's...
It's a difficult one. I know you'll say, because you're very black and white on this, I think. And to me, all the people coming in... no grey areas here. No. But I think people that are born and bred here and have embraced our way of life, I personally don't have an issue with that. I know I think you perhaps would disagree, but I think those that are coming here, to me, it's when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And I know it could be hypocritical, because when you look at what we have done in latter years, I'm not talking about imperialism and when we've invaded countries around the world, but, in latter days when we've all gone, the expats, and they've gone and taken over Benidorm or wherever, Italy, France, and they've taken their kiss me quick hats or handkerchiefs. Do you know what I mean? When they've got pubs and all this stuff, and they've taken our culture and invaded other countries because they want the sunshine. I think that's not right either. But then money's involved, isn't it? Because with tourism brings in money, but with tourism changes the whole world. And EasyJet and Ryanair, all these cheap airlines, they change the whole world as well. You can go to any city in the world now, and then most cities, and they'll all have like a Starbucks or a McDonald's or something like that, an air-conditioned cafe. So you might as well stay at home because you're not in that culture. So I think the Western people have done that. We've made a massive difference around the world, but maybe it's advantageous. I can't say the word, but maybe that is to their advantage, because we are bringing in money, we're bringing in employment and stuff like that. But again, we're changing their culture. Now, when it's happening to us, and it's not doctors and engineers that are coming into our country, it is goat herders. I heard something the other day, like all these goat herders that are coming in, and they've all got cocaine addicts or something like that. They're drug dealers, and that's not really going to support our economy. So that's not going to help us, and that's not what we want. But it's that's
well. The process has been slow and gradual, hasn't it? If we say that Windrush malarkey, which is a right old load of manure as well, the whole story about that. But they even came on a ship that we took from the Nazis. Okay, it's a liner ship, which they don't talk about. They renamed it the Windrush, whatever it was. It's been a gradual process. Now, it seems to me that if the gradual process was going in the other direction, most of us could deal with that. It's not that because if you try to change things overnight, that's usually called war. That's what it's about, really. Things have got to such a state, you go, I'm actually now, it's not that I'm prepared or willing to die for it, but I understand that I might. And if I don't do something now, I'm never going to have a chance to get back what it is that's been taken from us, which is not a lot, because we actually don't want a lot, but it's the precious things like the glue and all the other stuff about our way of life that now we're not allowed to have, or the circumstances, like the default position has been changed. It is assumed that everybody is a global citizen. And therefore, if you're a nationalist, you're an extreme right-wing Nazi fascist pig. To which I often say, yeah, okay, got anything else? I'll be that as well. That's not hard enough for me. I want you to really go for it. Come on. You can exhaust them on the adjectives because they'll run out of them after a while. And they don't know what they're saying anyway because it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, if there was a process, in other words, but we couldn't rely upon the government. I mean, I heard Starmer, unfortunately, the other day banging on about some statistics, and you're listening to him saying, we've done this and we've done that. I'm going, we have no way of knowing. All we know is what we see with our own eyes, and it's a shithole. And you're at the helm. And yes, the Conservatives played their role, and the previous Labour government. And in fact, practically every government since 1945 has been in on this because we lost that conflict. Yeah. We lost it. And it's a conflict that shouldn't have taken place. But it did take place by the same organisers that have been organising the conditions of our life ever since.
Yeah.
And we're in a social engineering and psychological warfare space. That's really what World War III has been about ever since 1945. Let's get them to give up their way of life. How? We'll give them lots of toys. We'll do this. We'll design washing machines. We'll make their life really comfy. And then we'll threaten to take it away from them so they'll do anything. I mean, it's more than that. I'm just being sort of trite about it. But it's all of these sort of ingredients that have been brought to bear. And I think we must be... I mean, I'm naturally intolerant, and I think you should be naturally intolerant if you value your own viewpoint. And if you don't, why have you got one then? You might as well just have somebody else's. And unfortunately, a lot of people do have somebody else's viewpoint. They don't even know why they believe what it is they think that they believe. They've never really examined it. Oh, this is wrong. What do you mean it's wrong? Like, you know, all these... the women particularly, I mean, I know there's loads of these sort of males that have got pipe cleaner arms that think they're going to pick up a bird at these left-wing rallies. I'm serious. These are beta males of the lowest type, sad buggers. But they just think that there's some sort of infinite supply of goodness that can come from what is obviously a limited supply. But we've got to keep giving because we're guilty for something in the past. No, we're not. We haven't done anything that that any other civilization has done. And the history of Islam since 615 AD is to expand Islam by the sword. It says so in the Quran, right? And they've never stopped. But no one wants to talk about that. Now, if they want to do that, that's fine. But, you know, it's not fine, actually. It's not fine when it bumps into us. And it's unfortunately been bumping into us for a long time, like 1,400 years now, stuff going on. So the fact that anybody would even think it's a sensible idea to bring people like that into this nation means that they're our enemy. And the real enemy, of course, is the government. And then the real enemy is the people that control the government, because the government are puppets. And then we've got to find out how to deal with them. And then it gets really complex and tricky.
But the thing is, I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying there. But I think what is also very hard to understand is why the general public don't understand what's going on, and they're defending these people. Not everybody, obviously. You know, you've got some that, like us, think there's definitely something that needs to stop here. But and I think a lot of people are waking up to that. But also, there are many, many, many people that still are wanting or encouraging these people to come over, these refugees, because they say they're refugees and they're coming from countries that are war torn and stuff like that. I mean, if they had two pennies to rub together, if they had a bit of common sense, they'd realise, you know, if they're coming from France or Germany or Europe, that's not a war-torn place, and they're not bringing their families, so they're not refugees. And also, why do they want to stay here? Why do they want to come to England and change our culture? Why are they not happy in their own country if there isn't wars going on? Okay, if they've come from Syria or I don't know or Eritrea or North Africa, a lot of these countries there aren't wars going on. But that's what I can't understand, why many of us still think they should come over and they feel sorry for them. It really is beggars belief. That I just can't understand why they want that to happen when they see the damage that has been done in every aspect of society. And then you've got bunches of them that are being put in little villages. You know, you might have a village population of 200 and suddenly 80 refugees are going to be put in, you know, these new houses that have just been built, which and that's happening where I'm at, where I live in West Sussex. I've sat in a park talking to a woman and saying her daughter couldn't get a house because it was given to a refugee family from Afghanistan.
Outrageous. It is. Actually, outrageous is not the right word. There was I think I mentioned to you the other night when we were having a beer or whatever we were doing, because Kizzi's part of the group I meet up with every couple of weeks, and although it's been about a month since we got together, it was good fun on Tuesday night, wasn't it?
We had a laugh. We did. We had
a real good laugh outside the pub in the dark, in the warmth. It was lovely. But there was a story that ran in the Sun newspaper, that bastion of truth, but it's still a story and it's still true, you know, and I've forgotten the region. It's probably somewhere sort of south, well, it's down in this neck of the woods or the Midlands or somewhere. There have been these houses built, brand new social housing. They showed you a photograph of it. It looked really good. I'm serious. Really nice, pretty little houses with eaves and roofs. And the whole lot has been given over to migrants for nothing. Just given to them. And it's not, you see, this is the thing. Now what they're doing is they're ramping up the friction between us and the migrants. But it's not, somebody enabled the migrants to be here. That's the enemy. It's that enabling
Yes.
force that's doing it. And of course, you've got these companies over here. What's that one that builds all the prisons? I've forgotten the name. You know, they're all in on it. It's just like we're told it's a big money-making scam. It is, but that's not the main reason for it. It's a big civilization-destroying plan by design. That's exactly what it is, because that's what it's doing. By their fruits shall ye know them, you know, and...
Well, it's interesting you say that, and I think we need to go. I feel like we're at the bottom of the pyramid, what we're chatting about now, and we're going to work our way up to the top of the pyramid, because also what you just said there was where's that place in Cornwall? Tintagel or something?
Tintagel.
Yeah, Tintagel. So I don't know if you heard about that story that's been recent in the paper.
On.
They've got a very nice hotel there, very, very nice old grade 2 listed building or something, and really upmarket. And the powers that be, the council wanted to take that hotel over for 5 years and fill it with these refugees. And the guy that runs the hotel said no. He said no, and my hat goes off to him, a man of integrity. He said if that happened, he said the whole of the village would just be wiped out, because, you know, we're the only hotel left and we employ people, and then people come and visit Cornwall and they come and, you know, buy things and go to the cafe. And if there's no hotel there, then it will just change the life of so many people. So my hat goes off to him and anybody else like him that has said no, they're not there for the money, because that's what it is. It's all about greed and money, isn't it? And there's also a hotel near me, I think it's a Travelodge or one of these little hotels, that it's been an advert saying, oh, we've just renovated it. Can't speak tonight. We've just renovated it. Now it's back to a hotel because it was housing those people. So we're going to be open in July. You know, come and see us. And reading all the comments, because there's a lot that you can pick up in comments. People said, well, you can imagine what they said. No way, we're not going there. And everybody said, no way. You know, you were there, you took the money. I ain't going to step my foot in there. But obviously, people coming from abroad don't know the history of it, so it will get its customer base back, obviously.
Yeah.
But anybody that has said no to it is great. So you've just alluded to this, I think, Paul, when you've said it's further up that pyramid. It's people are going along with it. Because of money, ultimately, and it's greed, which is, I think, the bane of the wrongdoings in our society. People want money because it gives you things, I think, gives you freedom, but it allows you to buy things, but it doesn't necessarily make you happy. But if you're getting more money, then you're going to do these things, but somebody's driving it. So the person that's got the hotel that wants more money because the council's going to give it to him, and the council wants more money because the government's giving it to the council. So we're going further up this pyramid to the top and thinking, why is this happening? What is the cause behind all this that's going on in the whole of the West? You know, it's not just Europe, it's Australia, it's Canada, it's the United States, it's the world. It's the world over. And there is obviously a master plan, and I think you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think so. We touch on this. It's although we say it's the world over, it's those parts of the world where our people have built things.
The West. Sorry,
okay.
The West.
No, you're right.
Yes,
you did say that. So I'm just sort of clarifying that. You absolutely said that. And that's what it is. This is not happening in China. The China, of course, have been robotized even further, which is a tragedy for the Chinese as far as I'm concerned, although they seem to love it according to the news reports that I see. But, you know, I'm only going to get selected stuff, aren't I? I'm not going to get stuff from them moaning about it. The Chinese had a great and rich tradition before communism rocked up, courtesy of certain people in the early 1930s. And, you know, Mao just started slaughtering millions of Chinese. Because that's what's behind all this. This is, so, you know, in broad, old-fashioned language, it's communism. And communism is an extension of something else, which we're not allowed to talk about because it comes from the unmentionables, so we won't mention it, allegedly. I hate talking like this, but we've got to some degree, right? That theme, there's nothing new with that. This is thousands of years old. And it's just the situation. So what we are on the receiving end now is very severe symptoms of this conflict right at the heart of things, which in my view goes all the way back to scripture if it's read right, which in my view it rarely is, understandably so because of the way it's actually framed and pushed in front of people. It's basically spun, and it's very selective, just like anything else. And so if you don't have the kind of if something doesn't get your goat about it early on in life, it probably never will. And I went through a huge chunk of my life before suddenly massive amounts of alarm bells. I was 33, 34 when suddenly everything just kicked off. And it just from that point on, the last sort of 30 odd years, have been basically me in a mild state of ever escalating fury about it and trying to get to grips with understanding it. And of course, you then tunnel into all this information, and then you have another challenge, which is, there's so much here. I can't communicate it to the guy in the pub. Not in 5 minutes. It's not possible to do. I couldn't get all the words out, and he wouldn't comprehend them. So you realise it requires a little bit of effort, and then you see that everybody is in this great big distractathon, as I call it. It's a big distraction machine. And so, the fact that we're here, the audience is here, we are people that have been able, and are continuing to work at, because it's a never-ending fight, this, to sort of claim ourselves as individuals and say, look, I have a viewpoint here, and it's more in line with the honourable workings of nature than the one that's trying to be pushed upon us. Because the force that is against us is anti-nature, and nature is the handmaiden of God, which I think it is, right? And so all the lessons are to be learnt from nature, and then you look at what you were taught at school and so on and so forth and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do think it comes down to Scripture read right, and I've said this a few times, and I'll say it a few times more. As Henry Ford said, most Christians read their Bible through Jewish spectacles and therefore read it wrong. And this is key. It's massively key. And in fact, because I knew we might be sort of bumping into this, I went upstairs and I've got like 20 books by my bedside that I'm always sort of dipping into. I've got a lot in here in the radio shed, but I've got one here with a title that'll put people off. It's called The Covenant People. By Destiny Publishers out of Massachusetts. The thing that's interesting about it is the guy that wrote it, William McKenna, he didn't put his name on it, but I know it's this guy. He worked with Henry Ford. He was part of his editorial team in the 1920s. And Ford wrote these two massive books, which of course are demonized everywhere, called The International Jew. And I've got copies of those here. And if you haven't read those, people, and you like to read, it's worth your while. It gives you a view of Ford's view of the situation back in the 1920s. And it's very accurate. Even though, of course, this makes him an anti-this and an anti-that, and he's a fascist and all this, that, and the other, and didn't he send money to the Germans and all this kind of stuff. Many of these things are true, but it gets more complicated as you go through. But McKenna worked on this staff, on the staff with him, and he went off and he tunneled into it even further to look at the history of the Anglo-Saxon people and what's really going on. And the root of it is, and in fact, somebody sent me a video. In fact, Nathan, if Eric's still there, you know Nathan, who you sometimes have on your show. Eric, are you still there? Maybe he's gone.
Yes, Nathan, yes.
Not Nathan Lucius, the other Nathan. Nathan Allenby. He sent me a clip. I can't really play it. It's got a lot of music in the background.
Nathan Allenby, yeah.
Yeah, they keep doing these clips. They keep putting loads of bloody music in. It takes me sort of 20 minutes to strip the music out because you can't hear it because of all this bong stuff. I don't know why they do that. It's very distracting. With a guy basically looking at haplogroups, which is the sort of DNA traces of people. And again, it just proves who we are, and that making a light jump here in the conversation, the people of Northern and Western Europe are the descendants of the so-called lost tribes of Israel. Not because I say so, but it's scientifically proved. It's just that nobody knows this information, rarely, But back in the 1930s, McKenna and his team really dug into it, and you begin to see all these lines. They slowly come together. And it's not surprising in a way that people don't know it, because in Scripture, and this is what I think is going on, and I know we're moving into a slightly different space here, but Yahweh God says that he will send his people, which he chose, right, which are not the people that everybody thinks it is, a great delusion. And we have been, in great part, a deluded people. We don't know who we are, but have you noticed that we're always searching like mad for our family histories as well? We're like obsessed with it. There's like a yearning to sort of get to grips with something, like something that's in the mist, and you're going, this is important. I've got a feeling about this kind of stuff. And that feeling should be followed through if you get it, that urge. You need to sort of pay attention to that. That's your internal bullshitometer going off 10 to the dozen, telling you that there's something not quite right. And what is it? And you won't be able to find the answer in universities or education establishments because they were lost a long time ago. So then you have to go off and stand outside of that. And then, of course, you get shouted at, nutcase, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, all right, fair enough. So, it just comes with the territory, and there's nothing new with that. But that's kind of what's driving it, in my view, allegedly. Right? Allegedly, that's what's really driving it. And, of course, it never comes up. And we've got examples of it today. In fact, our current situation is nothing new. It's nothing new at all. This enemy has wrecked every single one of the civilizations that our forefathers have built. From Babylon, which were built by Aryan people, starts off good, goes pear-shaped, right? Gets evil, absolutely. Ancient Greece, exactly the same. They allowed aliens in to live with them. And once you do that, it's like you warp the operating system of the indigenous people. The actual people, it gets warped. The conversation. Look at the fact that we're having to spend time talking about tolerating a situation, which we shouldn't do, that shouldn't even exist. It shouldn't even be present. It's just a complete nonsense. It's a totally man-made problem.
Yeah, no, you're right. You just mentioned you just mentioned aliens, and I know you're not talking about off-planet aliens. You're talking about, foreign people coming into another country. But I would even bring aliens into this conversation that we're having because, what is going on doesn't seem human. And when you do take it all the way back as far as you can, and I don't know how far that can go, but obviously you've done the research and stuff like that. Where does it start? Where does it start? Who wrote the book? The good book, the scripture. Who actually wrote it? Where did all this come from? Because it's gone on for eons, it's gone on for centuries, but there has to be a starting point. Can you shed any light on that?
Well, I could shed a little, but I don't know the Sumerian records are important because much of the scripture is based on Sumerian records, which predates the Old Testament by about 2,500 years. That's a big chunk of time. Right? Just casually tossing it off like that. It's a big chunk of time. And they left a lot of records in clay tablets. And there are sort of expositions of their work, which in a way make more coherent sense of what you're looking at. I mean, the idea of using the word God or gods, and Warren Ap Arthur says all of your gods are imaginary, and that may well be true, but I would then counter that by saying, but everything is imaginary. Seriously, I mean it. I'm not every single thing that you see, somebody imaged it in their head. It got imagined, and even if it didn't actually take place, the story has taken such a hold that we're having to deal with the effects of that tale. And you go, well, it's only a story, it's only made up. Yeah, but everything's made up. Look, if we make up better stories, I'm going back to what Plato said, those who tell the stories rule society. And this is what we're told all the time. We're told a story on the TV. And, what capacity have you got to fact check it? And even if you could, would it make any difference? I just think we need to outshout them sometimes. That's why I get quite loud. Just get louder than the other guy and everybody will pay attention to you. That's a bit basic, isn't it? Yeah, it works though. It works. People get drawn to energy, don't they? And commitment and intention and passion. These things sort of go beyond logic. Because logic it's only useful up to a point, I think.
Yes, but Paul, you said earlier in the program that you're not very shouty. You're going to have to get good at it if you're going to help.
Well, sometimes I am a bit shouty, and I think shouting is quite good. I just like to, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm doing a bit of shouting about nothing at all. It's very good, I think, for your molecules. I really think it is. I'm serious. If and we've talked about singing here as well, singing, humming as well. If you hum, it's very good for your body, isn't it? All of these sorts of things, but coming back to this scriptural thing, in my view, I've got to put it like that. And with me, it's more than a view because it's not casual. I didn't sort of read this last week. This goes back a long way. And when I sort of first came across this sort of a couple of sentences in some of these, about 2012, 2011, it was like being hit in the head with a hammer. Yeah. For me, it was. Yeah. I just went, holy crap, that's it. I just had this massive bingo moment. I didn't need any evidence. My instincts just went, that's it. This is exactly what's going on. And then you say, well, it couldn't possibly be us. But as you begin to go into the facts, the evidence, the historical records that have been suppressed, every single thing lines up with this. everything, including the misunderstanding that most of our people have about that book. I was talking to Robin Hood actually earlier today about this, because I'll be doing a show, and Robin's working away on all the sort of law stuff here in the UK. No, not the UK, in England. The UK is a political construct, right? All that kind of, all this crap that's coming at us.
Yeah.
And I was just going into this, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again at the Brighton conference, that kind of thing. This word testament that's right on the front of the book, I think it's the most, if you go past that word and you don't understand it, and there's a crazy science fiction writer called L. Ron Hubbard who created Dianetics and Scientology and all that other goofy crap, right? Because he was working with the CIA to create a new religion for everybody, and it's all human performance based and all. And there's actually some very interesting things in it, but overall it's mad as a box of frogs as far as I'm concerned. I remember actually back in the 80s, I used to walk along Oxford Street and get accosted by the Dianetics people.
I used to have a go at them saying, leave me alone, and they give you those bloody yellow books.
Oh, I know. I used to go in and argue with them. I loved it.
No, just go.
Oh God, it was great. Yeah, I miss it actually. I got you wrong about that, mate. And I play the really blunt, impervious northerner. No, that's wrong. Just completely dismiss everything they said. It's such good fun. I'm just sort of hamming it up. It's great. They were taking it deadly serious. I don't think it works like that. Anyway, I used to point. I said, he's the guy that used to write those science fiction stories. Oh yeah, I said they were crap. I said he can barely write. He's useless. But he did, and they were absolute complete shit. Most of what he wrote. But he did write one thing that I thought was really very, very useful about words. And I think it's right in the beginning of one of his books. So that's about, I thought I'll just read the introduction. And he said, if you're reading something or listening to something and you hit a word and you don't understand it, but you carry on, you've made a massive error, because you don't know that everything from that point, you're actually reading it right. And nothing could be more appropriate to this word testament. Nothing could be more appropriate, because it changed the entire in my view, it changes the entire dynamic of the book. It says, this is not a religious book. I know religions have been built around it, obviously, right? I'm not unaware of that. But it's a contract. It's a translation of the Greek word diatheke, which means contract. And you go, contracts, what are they? That should be your next response. What is a contract? And of course, most people are familiar with what they are. Formal agreements between two or more parties to do and or refrain from doing whatever you put in it. And you know, if you think about your day-to-day life, you're making and completing contracts all the time. You just don't formalize them. I'll meet you at the clock at 12 o'clock. Okay, that's really a contract. It's an agreement, you know.
Yeah.
I say, I'll see you there every day, Monday to Friday. And if someone's late, you go, you just broke the contract. But we don't talk like that. You just go, duh. And after a few times of someone being late, if you're late tomorrow, you owe me £5. Now it's getting serious, right? Because someone's been messed around. That kind of stuff. Don't do it again. And I'm going to make you sign this. Now we're getting serious, right? And all that kind of stuff. So this thing is a contract, and it is a contract. It's clearly stated that it's a contract. It's just that churches will not tell you this because they don't know. It's not that they're hiding it. It's actually hidden from them as well. They're in a sort of fog. They think it's Jesus loves everybody and we're all going to be happy and skip around a fire. It's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. The book is so tough when read right, you go, holy crap, you really get it. You know, if you actually go into the Old Testament things and read about the battles and look at the scale of them and the sheer vicious nature of them, they're only in 2 lines and then they slaughtered 25,000 people. You're going, bloody hell, that's quite serious, you know. Oh, it may have been exaggerated, but we're talking about people with swords and stuff. This is bloody, horrible work that was taking place. You go, but I thought God loved everyone. No, it don't work like that. He doesn't like people that break the law. It's really quite clear. Because without law, we're lost, aren't we? Without ground, it seems to me that we're lost without ground rules. It's a softer way of putting them. So it's a contract between Yahweh God, and you can put that to one side. That's just the way it's written. Okay, that leads into another conversation altogether. And his people, which proves that it's a contract because it's not all people. He doesn't say, I make a contract with everybody on the earth. There is no mention of that. There are no Chinamen in the Bible. I'm sorry if you're Chinese and everything and you think you're a Christian, but you can't become one. I'm English and I cannot become an Eskimo. Not in this lifetime. It's not happening. And it seems to me that what has happened to me and anybody else in terms of whatever you've got is what you've got. And it's, in my view, it's not by accident. You'll hear a lot of people say, oh, it's all this, that, and the other. But there are certain ground rules that are in there, and they're pretty heavy, and the penalties are heavy. And the Ten Commandments nails it. Like number 7, we were talking about this briefly the other night. Number 7
adultery.
is, thou shalt not commit adultery. What does that mean? It means you shall not adulterate your bloodline by race mixing, in modern parlance. Now, this makes me a racist, right? I can't. But I'm going, well, if God's a racist, so am I, and God is a racist because he discriminates on the basis of race. It doesn't mean in a hostile way. It's just like,
No.
I don't know how to put it fully, but it's as if certain races have got certain attributes or predispositions to behave in a certain way. I think that that's the case, a bit like internal operating systems, right? Or they operate in a different frequency. What one group would value might be of absolutely no value to us whatsoever. Where we might value hard work and they might be not interested in that. It's not our shout. But what it's saying, if you mingle these things together, you'll cock it all up. Tell me that it's not all cocked up because of that. It's cocked up because it's a law. I mean, I just think it's unavoidable. So we've had a long time of the Enlightenment and science and all this telling us, oh, we can make anything the way that we like. Really? I don't think so. I don't see it around me. Show me that. Show me one civilization where they put different races in the same space and it all turned out tickety-boo. There ain't one. They're all dead. They're all gone. They don't work because it's again the law. And I think God, or whatever you commands, the great creative force says, nature is the law here, and it will have its way no matter what you do. And I've given you free will, and the idea is to train yourself to obey the law. In some parts, heavy stuff, isn't it? You know, it's kind of serious.
No, it is heavy. It's really heavy stuff. It's really heavy, especially if people have just tuned into this, or if they're listening to your show, regularly. They probably totally understand what you're talking about. You and I have spoken about this many, many times, either at the pub or you've come on my little podcast on Wise Women Weekdays, and we've talked about it. I don't struggle to get my head around it. I understand it. I cannot repeat it. I can't articulate it. I try to, but it is so big, and I'll put it in little words. I'll just get a little story like the Bible wasn't written for them, though they're not the chosen people. We are. And then they say, well, what do you mean? And then I sort of get lost. But this is what you are saying for those people that do get lost because we don't totally understand it, or we understand it, but as I said, I can't articulate. I can't get it over the post to try and describe it more so people can understand. So if you have got somebody like my mates that say I've gone that far, and I said, well, the Bible was actually written for us. What do you mean it's written for us? I said, well, for us, for the Caucasian, I don't know if that's a word we're even allowed to say anymore, but I've just said it. Caucasian for the white people, that are, like you say, from the West or Northern Europe. The Bible is written, it's a testament for us. Now, another group of people have said, no, they are the chosen ones. But you are saying that we, because I'm one of those people with my Dutch leg, we are the chosen ones. Is that correct?
Yeah, like choosing, you do this job, you do that job, you do that job. It's been invested with a kind of mystical thing, as if it's an arrogance. Like people say to people who occupy the viewpoint I'm holding, I'm calling it a viewpoint, oh, you just want to be like them. And they've got it completely the wrong way round. And if you look at in my view, if you look at the restrictions placed upon us through those commandments, it's onerous, right? It's not easy, but we've got the capacity to deal with it because we've been built a certain way. Now, this could be hokum, because I do, on some level, I accept that. I never stop asking questions about this stuff, but you have to don't you sort of go down a channel for a bit of knowledge? You stop, you have to take a break, and you go, right, I've got to solidify my views right now, or I've got to get clear about some basic principles. And then you take a break and you live by that, and you go, right, it's now time to start questioning those. And it's always it's a permanent sort of job of breaking what you've built. You have to break it. You have to go, that I might not be right. That what I've said could be incorrect. Okay, let me examine it. Let me stress test it. Let me put my Sherlock Holmes pipe in my mouth and my deerstalker on, and look at it as best as I can in the way Holmes would. Does this stack up? Much of it does stack up, but there's still I've still got quite a few questions floating around. I mean, there's no reason to assume that it's a completely clean text. It certainly isn't. It's been interfered with.
So we should be questioning everything, whether we're talking about the good book here, or even another religious book. Question everything, especially from 2020, when a lot of people have just gone along and given up their left arm or their right arm, and had something round in it. But let's go along with this. This book, this testament, is written for us. And what are us. Who are we? We are the Israelites, yeah?
Well, according to the narrative, there are these 12 tribes called the tribes of Israel, yeah?
Yeah.
And they are appointed, they are selected, they are chosen by the God of the Old Testament to be his people. And he will invest them with certain qualities and skills, but they must keep the law. And when they fail to keep it, they get into the biggest load of shit ever. In fact, what's happening here is exactly what happened in the place called Judea, named after the Judahites that settled it, not the Jews. Right, it's not named after them. That word came later to add to the confusion, and it's been very effective. So they asked about. They went. What's the term? They went whoring after other gods. Right. We can't do it. So they got taken off into captivity multiple times. Multiple times they did for arsing about. And they started, hanging around with Baal worshippers and things like this who were from the nearby tribes, nearby maybe 80 miles away or 100. I don't know what the distance is, but you've got all these sort of groups in there. And Judea became a multiracial place. And it went to dog shit. Because
a bit like England.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. This is a repeated pattern over and over and over again. Yeah. It's like a blueprint. Yeah, it just is.
History repeats itself.
Yeah, and he said, because you won't do this stuff, you're having it, right? Because I'm boss.
So are we saying, or are you saying, or are you reading into this? Because I know you're questioning everything. You're trying to make sense of it. Are these tribes, is one better than the other, or are they just different?
I think they're just different. I think they're different.
They're different. So it's like a bunch of dogs, different breeds of dogs. You've got an Alsatian, you've got another dog, I can't think, a corgi or something like that. They're both dogs, but they're just different. And that's the same with these tribes. Nobody's better than anybody else, or is one group. No. Okay.
No, I mean, the way I sort of read it is, like people think that Christ loves everybody, but when you look at what he actually said and did, you see that he's keeping the contract. Right. He's a line manager who's come back and said, look, you're actually in breach of the terms of your contract, you lot. So I'm here to put it back on track. That's one way of expressing it, right? I'm sure there's a more eloquent way, but I'm just trying to put it in sort of plain language. Yeah. I'm going to put it back on track. There's a bit that I've mentioned before. I'm just going to read a couple of lines from something that's a brilliant, and I'll send a copy of this to you. It's a fantastic. It's called Star Wars, which sounds ridiculous, right? It came out in the mid-'80s. And it was obviously trying to tap onto the Star Wars thing as well. But it's actually about the two stars that oppose each other, right? Okay. Because those two triangles that are supposedly of the state of Israel, right? That's the star of Remphan, which is the opposing force. This is part of the opposing force, right? It's not good, right? That's the star of Remphan. And the other star, I don't know what ours is. Ours is probably, I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. It's not that one. Let's put it that way, right? Anyway, this is early on, and he says this. He says, I find, this is by a guy called Nord Davies, he says, I find that when I'm talking with Christians, great portions of the word from Scripture is such a mystery to them that they might as well be blank pages. Yahweh God did not intend it to be so, but in our disobedience, he has taken his word from us. People may not like this sort of language. I understand, but I'm reading it as it's there. He said, for instance, as you can see in this text from Matthew chapter 15, always everybody starts shuddering when you start quoting Bibles chapter and verse. But anyway, get this. So Jesus, give him that name, was walking along the coasts of Tyre, and a certain woman called out to him to heal her daughter. Notice, he says, that Jesus Christ, the man with the most compassion of any who have walked the earth, answered her not a word. He paid literally no attention to her. Oh, I thought he loved everybody. His disciples come up to him regarding her, and he gave them his instructions. This is another key bit. I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, what part of that do people not understand?
Say it again. I am not
sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In modern parlance, he'd say, I've only been sent to work with the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yeah, that's it.
And we're the ones that have gone partying. Okay.
Yeah.
I get. So just because what time did your little show finish?
11. So you can you can stay
can carry
if you
on, yeah.
like. We're gonna
Because I want to take it, and then I'll go down and have a cup of tea and bar of chocolate. So, but this is so fascinating because then if people are listening, and hopefully you have got some listeners. It's not just the four of us.
We're very good tonight because technically everything's going tickety-boo. So we've got a good-sized audience on Rumble and YouTube for the first time in weeks, simply because we've not cocked it up. And the radio's going gangbusters. We're doing pretty good on FFT radio as well. I don't know what we're doing on WBN. I'm told thousands listen there, but they might not be making head nor tail of this. But yeah.
Well, that's why I think even if there's one, the intention is to get it out, if whether people listen to it or not. But I just think it's really important to take it to the next stage then, because when I'm talking to people about what's going on in the world at the moment, and a lot of people say it's the bloody Muslims coming over and invading us, and then somebody saying, well, it's a Zionist because the Zionists are behind it, and It's all chaotic at the moment. So can you bring that into it? You might have been coming to that anyway, because at the moment you're saying Jesus has come down just to help out the naughty ones, the party goers, okay, that have gone off and misbehaved. Yeah. Which the British, we're very good at that, and I guess the Europeans, we are very good at that. And in
we slope
many
off a
ways,
bit, don't we?
But
when we're on purpose, we're absolutely unbelievably good. But you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that we're highly competent, well-organised, disciplined people with fair judgment. No. But we have been a lot.
No, and we create things, and we build roads, and even the Romans came and did the things that they did, the drains. We are phenomenal. I absolutely get that. And also, it seems to be a very English trait that you can't pat somebody on the back for doing well. In America, you go there and say, well done, you've created a business, or you've done something, you get a pat on the back. But in this country, you don't. People love bringing you down. I don't know why. It's a mentality thing. They don't like to see people doing well in this country. I don't know if that's been indoctrinated through schools and universities, but it just seems to be the case. And I know that for a fact. And I know many people that have done well, but there's like envy. There's that green-eyed monster that comes on. But I've digressed.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying I brought that in partly because we have done a lot of amazing things, and when you have conversations with people saying, well, okay, we might have conquered the world and done this, that, and the other, but we have done a lot of good. We haven't been very nasty to everybody, and also it's not us, it's not you and I, it's not these people listening to the radio show. It's the powers that should not be that have done it as well, that have done some cruel things.
Well, this is true. Yeah, I also think, much of this sort of expansion, I'm not into colonialism, right? Because it's a warped thing that the enemy was embedded within our structures. So like people say, well, we had the British Empire. That was a terrible thing. Well, not in all parts it wasn't. It did some amazing stuff, but it was never British. It was of the City of London. They're the ones that controlled it and basically used our manpower to go around and subdue other continents to extract things from it, like diamonds in South Africa and gold and oil and this, that, and the other. So, and there's also the law of unintended consequences. There's a lot of good that we did. We built railway systems everywhere that I think have helped people's lives in those parts because they can move around. Maybe not. Maybe we should never have done any of these things. It's easy to go if, buts, and maybes. What's done is done. But we've got a history of doing things. There are all these qualities and characteristics that are attributed to the tribes of Israel, and we display all of them. Every single one. It's just that people don't know what they are. Things like wherever you go, basically the gist is wherever you go, you're going to make the land fertile. We're going to grow food, like through the roof. Of course, Food for Thought Radio is looking at this attack on food because no food, no nothing, right? It's that simple.
Yeah, then we're gone.
Yeah, and I was talking, I don't know if I mentioned it the other week, there's a religious group, you see, it's all got slightly shaded in different variations. There's a group called the Mennonites, and they went to Russia, and they said to Catherine the Great, who was of German descent anyway, but ruling Russia, they said, look, we're having a lot of trouble, we want to live our life by the law, and can you give us some land? So, and they said, we will show all your farmers how to farm. We'll teach them. The only thing we ask for you is that you do not enlist us in your army should you come to have a war with Germany, because we don't want to fight on our own brothers, even though we're leaving them behind. We can't do that. So that was agreed upon. And the piece of land that they were given was absolute crap. It was awful, right? There was nothing would grow on it. After 30 years, they'd completely transformed it and turned it into one of these most abundant spaces. They taught all these things. And once you start to grow food, you can build civilization. You then begin to develop the finer qualities of life. Because if you're a migratory tribe hunting animals, nobody ever sits down long enough to actually have a conversation. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. You're going, bloody hell, I'm hungry again. We better go and find another pig or something to kill or whatever you've got to go. So, that's just one example of it. So there's loads of these qualities and characteristics, which of course are not taught to our school children. They certainly weren't taught to me. And if my church had been like the way I'm talking, I'd have been there all the bloody time. I'm going, come on, because it's about us. And you go, no, it's not. It's about everyone. Who has been the Christ-bearing people for the last 2,000 years? There's only one people, right? And they've gone all over the place and done it and think that they're supposed to minister to everybody. They're not. In my view, that's a big mistake, right? It's another big mistake because you used to have all these sort of guys from the Church of England go out to Africa, right? There's not one Christian country in Africa.
And stuff.
There's not missionaries. They were very noble. They gave their life for these things. Many of them got eaten. Right, they just
but a lot of them got wiped out,
Yeah.
Didn't something happen with the Inquisition? Then it all went a bit wonky, didn't it? When the Rome, all that.
Because it's in breach of the law. In other words, people get this sort of, we're going to save the world. You're not. Why don't you just do your bloody job? Right, do what you've been told to do, and let's see what happens. But nobody's ever done it long enough to find out. They probably did it, a long time ago. But that's kind of what's happened so many times. This sort of do-gooder thing. We're gonna help everybody, So
I mean, I think it's good to help people because I help people as well, and in other countries, But I'm not bringing other countries here, I want to help them. Anyway, that's something for another day. When we are, if what you're saying is true, allegedly, allegedly. So therefore, why are we being stopped? Who's stopping us? Who's getting in the way? Bringing it up to date a little bit.
A group that want to be on the contract.
Right,
and currently, and for a long time, have been pretending to be. And pretending it to such a degree that most of our people think that they are that.
Yeah.
And so when you hear the word chosen, people associate it with the way that group has presented it, which is as a sort of exclusive, superior, distanced, we are going to command you all. There are no instructions for that at all. That's not what it's about. It's not about that in the slightest. I mean, this is my take on it. I think it's about doing things the way we're supposed to do them and send out such a good example. How wet am I? But really, it's something like this that people go, how the hell are they getting all that stuff done? And we go, look, you can come over and learn it, but you can't live here. Right? We'll teach you if you want to know. But we don't know whether what we're doing will work for you and your people. We don't know because we're not you. How could we know? It's an arrogance about it. Oh, we can teach everybody everything. I'm not saying that good stuff hasn't come out of it, but there's knock-on effects, So if you've got a civilization that's built by us, people with an average IQ of 105 and operating to a moral standard, which we're used to, which is being smashed all the time, and you give it to a people that don't have that, it can cause and has disasters again and again and again, and now that you've got corporations just plundering these poor buggers in Africa and elsewhere because, the economy and we've got to make money and all this other stuff. And it's just, that's another symptom of this sort of disobedience to the law. If we just... Look, I know I sound like a school teacher here. I'm fully aware of it, and I don't even. No, but
I think this information's got to come out. That's why I was really happy to come and have a chat with you about it. And I could chat over and over and over again until it sinks into people what is actually happening. Because then you're talking about a certain group of people, the chosen ones that we have been led to believe. Now within that group of people, there are people like to go on Ryanair, if you get what I mean, the Ryanists. So are they the same as the other people that live in that country in the Middle East that haven't got dark skin?
I mean, they've got so many different factions and things, but in the end, they're not the same operating system as us. But to use computer language, they're just
But you know,
and it's not that they're all bad or anything. I mean, I wouldn't even know. I'm never going to even meet them all, am I? I'm just. You have to just stand back and go, there are so many complications, and this is understandable, do not want to do any harm. I don't want to do any, but it seems to me that if we keep ignoring the truth, more and more harm is happening around us all the time, and it's happening to our people. And so, although we want everybody to be well, we aren't going to have any resources or capacity to help even ourselves, let alone anybody else at this rate. That's what's happening.
So that's what's happening.
We're coming to the end of the hour, Kizzi. Are you coming into the third hour or not? I don't mind.
Cool. I'll come in for 10 minutes if I may.
Okay, I'm just going to wrap up. So we're going to say goodbye to WBN 324. Bye everybody on WBN 324. Hope this has been an interesting counterpoint to Alex Jones for the previous few hours. We'll be back again same time next week. That's 8 p.m. in the UK, 3 p.m. US Eastern. We're carrying on fftradio.com and YouTube and Rumble. If you want to tune in, go to paulenglishlive.com and all the links are there. We're going to do a song in this little transition thing. Here we go. Bit of a romper stomp at this. It's quite fun. That was the Obnox Stomp by John Fairhurst, and I nicked it off of Callie Spell, who played it this Wednesday morning, and I liked it so much I looked him up, and he's one of those independent musicians that's out there doing stuff. That's from quite a few years ago, but I quite like that, a bit rough and ready. Anyway, here we are in hour 3. We're all still here, which is lovely. It's great that you could stay on for a bit longer, Kizzi. I'm quite glad about that.
No, it's great, and I'm glad I did, because what a tune that was. It took like, what was it, Squeal, Piggy, Squeal, to a whole new dimension. I can just imagine all the hillbillies playing it.
Yeah,
song.
Callie seems to know loads of there's just tons of stuff out there. I've been banging on about it for ages, but I just don't even have the time to find it. But I just know they're out there. And there's an example of it. Somebody really competent doing stuff. Yeah, it's just us, really. It's just our stuff. It tapped into all sorts of things. So
yeah,
John
very
Fairhurst.
Powerful. Love it.
Yeah, he's got a channel on YouTube. I don't think he posts that much. He's probably... Although I think he's doing a gig somewhere, and you just think, well, if there are other musicians that are like that, count me in. I'd go and have a beer there. I'd even start drinking beer if I was around that again.
You might start tapping your foot.
I might well do that. Eric, are you still with us? I think he is. I just wondered if he wants to sort of come in and say a few words.
Yes. Hello, a few words. How's that?
That's lovely.
I enjoyed that stomp. That's really nice. I was really tapping the old foot there. Yeah. Lovely jubbly. It was nice.
Yeah.
But coming up with some very interesting topics tonight. Yes, so very nice. From chatting people up, and I've made notes. I know what to say now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting indeed.
It is.
Good thing I live on the ground floor, because if I lived on the second floor, the first floor would be banging on the ceiling right about now.
Yeah, what with all that
tune.
song stuff. It was called the Obnox, as in obnoxious stomp. Obnox Stomp.
Brilliant.
By John Fairhurst, Hurst, I think, Fairhurst. So, yeah, look him up. He's he good stuff, and it's a lot of it's a bit like a lot of music I used to play when I was a bit younger, because he's got harmonica players and stuff like that, and I kind of like all that. It's a bit rough, you know, but then I am rough. I'm a bit rough, really, so I quite like. It's not sophisticated, but it's got a certain type of energy and direct connection, which I quite like, you know. So
hillbilly song, beautiful song, fabulous.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, Callie's got a bit of treasure there. I've got to keep prizing it out of her. She keeps throwing musicians. I go, whoa, the bloody hell's this? This is fantastic. So yeah, it's really good. It's like having your ears refreshed and going, and it's good. It makes you feel good. You go, oh, there are people still out there banging away on guitars and things and drums, actually for real. And that slightly rougher sound, which is more, you know, which is the real sound that you actually make when you play music. I love it. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
good stuff. Anyway, where were we? We were into a big, thick thing, weren't we there? We were into a big, thick, juicy thing, and we can carry on. We can look at the sort of examples of it, but yeah, I mean, this is the bare bones of it, really, but they're fundamental to the whole thing.
They are, with what's going on at the moment, because, okay, so my question was, I think my question was, like, when we talk about the Zionists, okay, not everybody, but people I know say, well, it's the Zionists, they're behind this, behind that, behind everything. Yeah. And I think possibly they are, and certain families. But then when we talk about the people of Israel, the Jewish people, are you saying they're not Zionists, are they? Are we linking them together or not?
I don't know.
For the damage
I don't
think
they are. I mean, I don't know. You know, I remember there's
Ukraine.
Ukraine is a Zionist project and all that kind of stuff. But you see, I think part of the warping of the whole thing is that all of these sorts of things that are in the instruction set that's in that book, it's not for them. It's it's like a very sophisticated masquerade, really super sophisticated, because they're pretty good at that sort of stuff, and we actually are suckers. I mean, there's no two ways about it. We, you know, in many ways, I view myself as that. I'm going, oh no, not again. You've been had, you chump. But at least we've got the ability to detect when we're not on the ball. That's a biggie, actually, is sort of self-correcting, it seems to me, along the way. You've got to go, you know what, in light of what you've just said and what I've just referenced, I have to say that what I've just been talking about was actually manure. So far, I've not come across much that contradicts what I'm saying at all. There's another thing I just wanted to mention. This goes back to, I think I mentioned this the other week. This is just a key thing, just going back on this racial thing and who it is, right? You know, there's a bit at the end of the New Testament, the big bit, where Christ is on trial. And if you haven't read that, it's really worth reading, because if you want to hear invective that absolutely strips the enemy bare, it's just astonishingly brilliant. It's just amazing stuff because it's so direct and to the point and completely justifies his job, as it were, to recover the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Lost, by the way, in that sense, means put away in punishment. That's what it means. I've only come for... And they were put away in punishment because they were whoring after other gods. They'd moved off of the reservation. They'd arsing about, right? And they can't do that. But there's a bit where he says to them, he said... They're saying, no, where are all these people? And he says to them, he said, because you are not my sheep, you do not believe in me, right? And he didn't say it the other way around. We were talking about this the other way. He didn't say, because you don't believe in me, you're not my sheep. In other words, if you believe in me, you can become my sheep. No, he didn't say that. And he didn't bugger his words up, right? That's all. Basically, because you're not of my breed, right? Like in dogs, because you're not of that, you can't believe in me. It's not possible. You can't do it. You're excluded. You're not in the contract. That's it.
Your name's not down.
You're not on it. So I can't, people go, this is horrible. I'm going, well, I didn't write it. Right. And that,
your fault.
But it appears to me that this is what's playing out, and this adversarial relationship, and that's putting it mildly, because all of the evidence of the troubles throughout history is about this. It all pivots around this point. The whole thing.
Yes,
it pivots on this
on
one
where
point.
we are now.
Yeah.
So therefore, because it's written for us and not others, them, the other chosen, the non-chosen people, why can't they not just go away and build synagogues and grow wheat or whatever they want to do? Why are they so upset that the book is written for us?
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Because they hate to be left out.
They don't like
anything.
Okay.
Well, they
Fair
think
enough, could be.
It goes back to certain sort of bloodline things inside the Old Testament. This is what I was trying to get Pastor Eli James to come and join us, but I think he's out and about now. He knows a great deal about this, and he's a brilliant guy. We don't really get into his brilliance too much on these shows when he comes on, but I've spent a lot of time with Eli going through things and documents. And Chris, who I've mentioned, I think he came on the show a couple of times. Chris is the old chap who passed away last year.
Yeah.
Chris, I spent 12 years with Chris regularly talking about this kind of stuff. And there's a website he put together called newensign.com, which is still up and running. I've got to restore it. But there's masses of material in there. There's 4 gigabytes of documents. It's all documents, right? So it's like, I can't read all that. No, you can't, probably. It's not going to happen. But you might find things in there that do, every single one is reinforcing, either from an ancient point of view or recent events, i.e. the last sort of, from the 20th century onwards, examples of this playing out again and again and again. And we're in one, a big one right now, probably the biggest of them all. A sort of the end of something, and all of this is kind of predicted in those documents. People may dispute that, and they're entitled to. It's fine. But I'm going to strongly suggest that they are in there if it's read right and not sort of all clouded up with all this. Let's all sing and all this. I mean, I never even understood what that was about when I was a kid. I just didn't get it. Right. I know. I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, I think when you come together as a people and you want to do that, and I love male Welsh voice choirs. They're astonishing. They move. You just sort of go, whoa, what is that? It's all this human life coordinated in such a way. It's very, very powerful stuff. But I feel as though organized religions have taken advantage of that. And if they're up there in the pulpit and they're not telling this straight, hard, this is the sort of grown-up part of it. This is what's called the strong meat for men. It's not, people go, oh, he can't be like that. He loves everyone. Well, he doesn't. He whips money changers. I've said this before, you ever gone out and whipped anybody? I haven't. Yeah. And this is a guy, So.
Well, I remember listening to, I'm sure anybody can Google it, listening to a church service, and they were singing, but they were singing in Latin to Lucifer.
Yes.
And I thought, this can't be true. This can't be right. But they were singing to Lucifer in the church, and I thought, hang on, what's going on here?
I saw
it was
that.
a bit of a wake up. Yeah, it's a wake up call, you know. And with all what is going on and what you're saying about now about like the non-chosen people, and we are the chosen people, and there's this stuff going on, and now we've got all these people coming to all the Western countries and diluting the white skin, especially if there's only 7% of us left, which is a little bit scary across the whole of the globe. Who's behind that? This is part of it. This is what you're saying. This is when we're in the midst of it, the biggest one ever.
Yeah.
So why do you think they want us gone? Because we are the chosen, allegedly the chosen ones.
But I guess it all depends what you mean by this, or what one means, and it's something to think about even beyond this conversation. Really, what does it mean to be chosen? Right.
Yes,
so
yeah.
the way that it's received at the moment, I think, because it's being clouded by the other side, is it means the sun shines out of your arse, that you're above all other people, that you really are superior. But in my view, that's not what it means at all. I think what it means is you've got certain attributes and you've been chosen to do this, right? It's like, you know, if you're running a company, you don't, or if you're in a basketball team, you're probably not going to staff it with Eskimos because they're about 5'4". You're just not going to do that. I mean, you could do it, but it probably won't be very successful, and maybe that's what you want. I don't know. But if your intention is to actually win at these things, that's not a sensible choice to make. You could, you bloody Eskimoists, you're being prejudiced against Eskimos. No, I'm not. They're not chosen for this, but I'll tell you what they are doing. You know, when we're going on that expedition up to the North Pole, I choose them to sort us out. Why? Because they bloody know what they're talking about, and I'd be an idiot to not listen to them, right? They know how to survive up there. And, you know, I'm just picking a sort of an extreme example. I actually think it's a bit like we've been chosen to do latrine duty. I'm serious. It's like you go, look, this is a free will space down here, which is a dangerous thing, particularly when most people don't even know how to exercise it fully, or that means, because what it means is individual responsibility, right? You are responsible for your life. And communism and everything says, no, the state will take care of you. It's in complete opposition to the instruction set that's in those documents. And so according to Scripture, they are the enemies of the natural order. And although I don't subscribe to a lot of Michael Jones's views, he's written a great deal. And it's called the Logos, which is the natural law of the universe, the way it's meant to be, as it were, in common parlance. And they are inherently opposed to it. I can't tell you why, but everything that's natural becomes slightly unnatural if they get involved. Practically everything. It's just a bit strange. And it's not so much, it must sound like I'm, allegedly, right? Phew. Right? But there's a track record of this, and that track record, of course, is obscured from you during your school life because you never get taught about this stuff. It's not in your history lessons. No one looks at this. But and I've mentioned before, over here in England, in the 1830s, I think it was, this block of understanding that I've been putting out was known by over 3 million congregants in the Church of England. They went, oh, we descend from those people. The signs are absolutely everywhere, but if they're ignored, there's no point having them, is there? He said, look, it's right in front of you. Yeah, I'm not looking at that. I'm actually watching football. Oh, okay. Right. So, but it's right there in front of us. So even the name Saxon derives from the fall down from the word Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob and Esau, and it's through his extended sons. So it's Isaac's sons. He has sons, so they're known as Isaac's sons. And if you take the I off, you get Saxons, and that's where it comes from. And it's in all these names. We've got the Outer Hebrides. They're known as the Outer Hebrides now. And the other side are not Hebrews either. You go, what? Chris knew a great deal about this. It does tap into these islands as well, very much, because the Druids had the same, let's call it moral and ethical code that you see in Scripture. It's no different. It's exactly the same, because it probably taps into something pre that. You know, I'm going back to the Sumerians. Some kind of a structure to build organized good living amongst people. You've got to have a rule set. I mean, I suppose you don't have to have one, but if you don't, it seems that people that have never had one we don't know who they are. They don't seem to sort of build much or anything like that. And maybe that's great. I don't know. All I know is I got dealt this. Here we are in this conversation, and this is what we've got. It's like this, isn't it? Outside our door, this is what's going on, and we really want to know how to stop it. because
exactly.
You know, we want. So this research is not just to sort of say, "Oh, I know all this stuff. Great, that's lovely." It's how do we apply it to stop this problem? And it appears from history that it's never been successfully done. Not in the last few thousand years, because there's just trouble keeps springing up all the time. You know, we've got.
Well, it's not going to be successfully done now either, because I don't think not immediately.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what we're talking about. People don't know it. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. They'll probably refuse to understand it because it is just so foreign to their ears. Like you say, we've not been taught it, and it seems ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems it's so far fetched from the average Joe, because it's just stuff that's never been discussed before. Mm-hmm. And with the issues that we've got at the moment, these unchosen people don't come into it unless you sort of read between the lines. And I when I speak to people on the street, but not on the street, but friends and families and stuff like that, and we do have some deep conversations. Mostly I try and avoid it because of differences of opinion, and we have a fallout and what have you. But they won't go deep. They won't go into what you're talking about now. They just say, we should be helping people from other countries, and we should be giving them a house, and why not? And they're refugees and they deserve it. And that seems to be people that I really thought are awake, and they're saying that. And I said, but it goes so much deeper. Do you not see what's happening? We're being diluted. The clergy plan, look, it's actually coming into play. Yep. It's actually happening in front of you. And I will show them videos and footage and talks and everything, and they still they'll be in denial. It's the same as this bloody
It's difficult. It's
thing.
Not easy. Yeah, it's really difficult.
No.
What's it called? Cognitive dissonance, right?
That's
Two
right,
opposing
yeah.
ideas in the head, and it's just so even to ask people to consider this. Because people, like I said, people think that, oh, you're special. I don't know no more than anybody else. That's not what I see. I actually think this is an onerous task. It must be, because we failed at it so often. But who does it apply to? So that's it. If it's not us, I don't mind. I mean, I didn't get into this going, great, that's fantastic.
Yes,
look at me.
me.
I'm the bee's knees. I mean, it's complete garbage.
prefect.
It's childish. I didn't do that at all. I just went, oh, that makes complete sense. That's coherent. Now the rest of the book makes complete sense to me. Now I understand what it's about. The overall arching context is about these people in the past that when they obeyed it, everything went tickety-boo. And when they didn't, they ended up in the deepest shit you ever saw in your life. And so you're thinking there might be something in this, and I'm looking around now and I'm going, I've got all the evidence. I think I've got evidence in front of me that supports that. People here listening might disagree. That's fine. By the way, if you are listening, you want to call in, you can, right? Even with opposing views. I'm not going to be nasty or anything like that. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. It doesn't matter. If you go to paulenglishlive.com/call, you can come in the studio. We'll patch it in. Any observations or comments that you want to make, if you've got an urge, give in to your urge and urge away. That would be great. Yeah.
Paul, I'm going to give in to my urge now for a cup of tea. So I'm going to head down.
Before
so I'm going to say, good night, gents. Yes, before I go.
Before you go, check the private chat. I've got a couple of links in there for general information for everybody, including a book.
Fantastic.
Book, some songs, stuff like that.
Great. Thank you,
I
Paul.
will be doing that. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. And it's lovely chatting with you guys tonight. Hopefully I'll come back and have another chat with you another time.
It's been great having you. Have a wonderful event at the weekend. I think I might rock up for a bit, but I'm not walking on coals. I'm not going to be doing that.
Why not? Why not? You're a northerner.
Oh, no, I don't.
Hot coals, yeah. You don't know.
All right. Well, if I come back next week and I'm yelping, you'll know I've got blistered feet.
All right, my fault.
Me do it. Whatever. No, it's okay. Fantastic,
Hope
Kizzi.
to see you at the
Brilliant.
weekend.
You can catch Kizzi's show, by the way, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock for an hour on Food for Thought Radio, FFT Radio, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. So it's a great
and I must
little
just
chat.
say, I think I'm having these two ladies, can't remember their names now, that they have been stripped of their assets. They're very wealthy, and they're talking about big names, big banks, big names, and they're going to be really interesting to talk to. I'm trying to get them on a Wednesday. They want to come on, but we haven't firmed it up. And I think they should be coming on one of your shows as well, because they talk about JP Morgan and solicitors and judges.
I think I saw. Are they doing the rounds? Did they just do a YouTube with someone recently?
I think they are. Yeah,
that looked
Marcelo
really major. They were talking about how they were basically chewed up like mincemeat in the legal system.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they contacted me, so they're coming on, and so maybe we get them on your show as well. Yeah, they're doing the rounds. They want more exposure, so that's all good.
Fantastic.
All
It
good.
is good.
You're going to have two ladies exposing themselves. And
That's right.
now, what about...
That's right, Eric. You picked it up. That's the nub of it.
Yes.
They want to come on your electric bike, Eric, and one's got a cheesy leg.
Well, the other thing, what about, with this walking on coals, what about toe labbage in your jacket potatoes? Because if you cook your jacket potatoes on the hot coals, sure, you might get a bit of toe labbage on your jacket potato. It's just a
Toe
thought.
what? Toe
labbage. Yeah, you know, that toe
cabbage.
labbage is, toe labbage is the
Stuff
grime.
between your toes?
The
Stuff
grime.
between your toes, yeah. Yeah, so you think,
Oh.
oh, bloody hell, this jacket potato tastes a bit
Bit
footy,
toe-lagged.
bit toey, you know.
It's like dingleberries in your belly button. Is that a dingleberry?
Yes,
That's
yes,
an American
dingleberry.
thing. Oh,
Yeah.
dingleberries in your toes. This show is weird. Is it? Do you know?
Goes all over the shop, doesn't it? We don't know what's going to happen. It's a laboratory, Kizzy,
It
of
is a
communication. It's just a laboratory. It's
I love
free-form
it.
yakking.
So, ladies, if you want to get something vibrating between your legs, come on my electric bike. So there we go.
Don't say you don't learn anything on this show.
No,
Eric is a
right.
font of knowledge. Tremendous
Well,
stuff.
on that note, I'm going to have a nice cup of tea.
Have a lovely
I shall
cup of
see
tea,
you guys
Kizzy.
later.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
well.
Lots
Have a
of love to
cracking
you.
weekend. I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Kizzy.
Cheers. Nice to see you.
Cool. That was fun. That was really jolly
I
good
love
fun.
her.
Yeah, she's great. Very fluid. In fact, we're even talking about doing. I've been mithering on about getting us some kind of a breakfast show going because I just want to see how bad I could make it. It wouldn't be about this sort of stuff. We've got to sort of get news stories in and take the piss out of them all day long, which wouldn't be too difficult, I don't think. Would it, Eric? I don't think that would be Derek.
No,
It
it'd
wouldn't
be quite
difficult.
easy to do that, would? No.
Yeah, that'd be quite easy.
Well, let's face it, they're quite. When you look at it, we're just people used to pay good money to go into a lunatic asylum and have a good laugh. This was
Yeah.
a bit of a sick thing to do in the Victorian times, but we've got it presented to us on the internet free of charge because the whole of Westminster is a lunatic asylum.
Yeah.
Let's face it, who in their right mind would want to join that lot? So there must be loopy loo, you know.
I know. If we can find an angle to sort of extract the urine from it in a slightly different and unique and distinctive way, that would be fun. I don't know quite what that is. We'll probably just bumble into it and we'll either do it or we won't, I guess. There's no point fretting about it. But, there's
it's
so
a bit
many
like what I
serious
did-
things to talk about. I think maybe we put a serious thing in and then we have a laugh about something else because we can't just laugh all the time, can we? Actually, we probably could.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's like I put a headline on the Fockham Hall Times a few years ago, and that is someone accused our local council of being honest. I mean, what a terrible slur that is to accuse a council of being honest. And, you know, a spokesman allegedly said that they do everything they can to bring the level of corruption that people expect. So that's it, you see. So,
Yeah.
and people accusing the government of honesty as well. That's a terrible slur. These people are born crooks. So we can flip headlines back to front and things like that. Like, was it healthy vitamins found in supermarket food shock?
You
know?
don't want that.
What are we to do?
Health
well,
warning.
that's right.
You might get healthy if you
Yes.
read this. If you eat this.
Well, Miss Slapper in an electric wheelchair was very worried in case she gets fit because she won't be able to get her stuff from the government. You know, she won't be able to get any of their benefits. So it's a very worrying thing that could happen. You know, but things like that. You know.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to lose your benefits.
Now, Paul, in America, I guess it's similar
Yes.
where you are. Do you see, whenever you see pharmacies, I think you call them drugstores, don't you? I don't know. Pharmacies, drugstores, I don't know.
Yeah.
Where you get medicines from. Do you get people coming out with their doggy bags full of medicines from the doctor, from the pharmaceutical rubbish that they've been prescribed? Because we have over here, you see them, they're like sort of a swarm of people coming out the chemist shops with their little doggy bags.
I'm sure that it's the same everywhere. I don't know, it was 6 or 7 years ago. I hadn't had health insurance for a long time, and I needed one medication. right? Okay, so I went to the doctor and I got prescribed the one medication. And then, of course, that medication came with side effects. So then there were additional medications to deal with the side effects. By the time 6 months had passed, that one medication I was on had grown to 13 different prescriptions taken every day. And it was ridiculous. So, yeah. I don't think that they're walking out of the pharmacy with the doggy bag. I think they're walking out with the shopping bag.
Yes. And I bet that cost you a few bucks, didn't it? That didn't come cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, even if you have insurance, you've got copays on everything. So.
Oh, it's a rip-off, isn't it? Insurance.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Don't you like paying it? Don't you like paying insurance?
Oh, I love paying it.
I'll tell you one thing that happened to us the other day. We got a VAT bill through, right, for £5,500. It's absolutely mad. I mean, I wish we were due to pay a VAT bill of £5,500. That would mean that our nicotine business was going through the roof. It actually turned out to be £1,300. It was like mad, absolutely mad, that kind of stuff. And the insurance thing, as we've said, it's a bet. You're betting that your house will burn down, and they're betting that it won't. But I heard something that are they sort of changing things as well that you won't be able to sell your house soon. Are they just going to take everything off us if we let them? We're not going to let them, of course. But that's what they're planning to do.
That's what they're working on doing. As a matter of fact, they're working on just taking the properties because they're doing like sweeping referendums across the country under eminent domain and seizing properties to put up data centers to store or process what kind of data. I have no idea, but I mean, they're literally taking over.
But Alice Gorge has got a question in here, right? She's just said, I feel everyone is fractured in their efforts. No unity or focus. What's the solution to government? Well, I guess that's one way of viewing it. You might be right. I mean, maybe I'm just sort of a salve to my own conscience. I think what's occurring as well is you've got lots of people out there with lots of disparate skill sets and enthusiasms in different areas. For example, some people are really tunneling in on the common law stuff and others in other aspects of the legal thing. I'm a bit of a banking nut and I obviously a scripture nut, whatever you want to say. I don't mind what the scripture is, but those are the things that I'm drawn to more than anything else. And I think everybody should be pursuing what they get a yearning to pursue in line with all this kind of stuff. But I think the way that we're going to have to deal with government, or one way of dealing with it, because there's probably not one solution, everybody's got a different idea of it, is if we are able to restrict them on a small level, they will find that their commands will not get through. In other words, councils and places like that, where they are literally in direct abuse of the law and are effectively running like a massive protection racket and psychologically bullying us, is a place where we can and need to learn how to make a stand, including me. I know that as I was mentioning earlier, I had a conversation with Robin Hood a bit earlier today. And if you've tuned into that show on a Friday night, 7 till 9, I'm often there. I won't be there all the time, but I've been there most of the time. But he's got geared up. I understand he's got a proper microphone now, so he won't be dropping out all the time. We've had some technical things there as well. It's not my fault, honest. So that's been a bit of a challenge. But he was saying that a lot of things are happening recently, where he feels that he's got some real good positions to go. Like there's a guy coming on, I don't know if he's going to be on the show tomorrow night, who's so far got 30 people out of their mortgage because of the fraudulent nature of the mortgage contracts, so-called. So that's one way of approaching it. And people must find something that fires them up and do that. And slowly but surely, maybe not so slowly, we'll conflagrate. We'll come together as loads of little burning fires and join up as a big one. That's the idea. But it's got to be based, I guess, on knowledge and understanding.
Local councils are registered with Dun & Bradstreet. They've got a limited company registration.
Like the coppers.
So the best thing, say, yes, you're keen to pay when they send you an itemised bill. And can they please show the signature where we agree to a contract? But you're not refusing to pay. You're just saying, can you fulfil your side of the contract? Which they can't. Because you never signed a contract with them. And this is the thing. Why should you pay money to have your house? When, for example, in Spain, do you know how much council tax is?
No.
Compared with this country, £85 a year. And out of that comes the bins emptied every day. Mm-hmm. But you have to take your bin to a central area. And the education and everything else. £85 a year. So how comes our council tax costs, how much is it now? It's about £200 or £300 a month compared to Spain.
It's much less there because there aren't as many people with their fingers in the cookie jar.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
This is true. Absolutely true. I mean, I heard a report today that England, since 2020, so since the old COVID blather, our actual standard of living has dropped 23%.
Yes.
Which is just enormous.
Oh, yes.
And
I'm sure.
Yeah, so in fact, we are being asset stripped under the guise of bureaucracy and all these taxes and stuff like that by design to weaken us and to run us into the ground. And of course, you've also got a situation where many people now, because we've been brought to this position, are dependent upon their pensions, which they're also seeking to pilfer, and all the government handouts, which creates a reliant population. And therefore, a reliant population is unlikely to question the master that's giving them a pittance. Oh, it's better than nothing at all. That's how it works. You've been brought into a communistic state against our will because we've forgotten how to use our will, and also we've never been invited to speak. We're never going to get that invitation, by the way. They're never going to ask for our consent because they never have. They just go ahead and do stuff. So Sammy actually writes in the thing, he says, I can be wrong, but in my opinion, the solution is the proliferation of weapons, then secession, anarcho-capitalism. Otherwise, the criminals have nothing to fear. The essence that they have nothing to fear is what they need to be disabused of, and our behaviour has to change so that they become anxious about what they're doing. And I think it's possible. It looks as though one of the weak points is in the court system, because I think the main enemy we've got is the judiciary. If a court is supposed to be the last place of the result of a decision, but that place is completely corrupted or very close to it, which it appears to me to be. And, Kizzi was just talking about these two ladies, and I caught 5 minutes of it the other day, and I've deleted it off my tabs. Now I'm regretting it because I want to go back and watch it. I can't remember what it was. But these were two reasonably well-to-do ladies who had lost everything, and these were not insubstantial estates. These were large, and they'd been betrayed. And one of them, I remember early saying on, she said, the entire legal profession is basically just a money laundering racket. And that was my impression when I went to court in 2000. They were you just get this sense that all they're looking for is a financial skim off, and everything's set up to plunder the plaintiff. I mean, the defendant. That's all it's about. And they'll allow things to, we can get a lot of money out of this one. And that's what those come to court pretty quickly. That's, that's what it's about, unfortunately.
It's like traffic court. Traffic court 40 years ago in America, 40 years ago, traffic court was just this room filled with people, and they had their piddly little tickets, and they'd go up and they'd talk to the judge, and the judge would, listen to them for a few minutes, and he'd say, oh, okay, I'll work with you. I'll only give you such and such a fine. Boom. Next case. Within 5 minutes, they had people taking the stand and then being slapped with a fine and going to see the clerk to pay it. This entire room, it was like 40 minutes. They processed a couple of hundred people, and it was all fines. Nobody, even like now, if you want to fight something, you go to court. Well, if you're going to go to court, you're going to pay court costs, okay, which can be anywhere between $80 and $120 American, okay? So you get a false ticket. You go to fight it. Even if you win, you still lose because you have to pay the court costs, whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it's absolutely a scam. It's absolutely what they do. It's absolutely the way it's become. It's morphed into that. Yeah.
I don't believe, though, But I don't believe you should get traffic fines. I don't believe in driving licenses. I don't believe in driving tests, because it's a moral thing. That why should you be tested for something? Why should you have a license for something?
I think there are solutions to all of this, Eric. You remember me mentioning a few weeks ago, and I've got to chase Mark up on this. So if I don't, I'm mentioning it to you because you should chase him on this. He told me about, it might be Cabby, or who we get their ads spinning through the FFT radio schedule, okay? And someone has got an insurance policy, like my son got his insurance quote through the other day, right? He's 23. It'd gone up to 950 quid a year. I mean, it's just nuts, right? He found one cheaper, but this one that they do is £300 a year, all in for any vehicle. If your mate says you can drive my vehicle, you're getting it, you're insured if you prang it by this organisation. We need to find out about that. It's a real practical thing that I suspect would help a lot of people listening here. It doesn't affect me at the moment because I don't have a vehicle, but I am planning on getting one again because I probably need to sort of tool around a bit. But that's one. There's also 3 weeks tomorrow on Friday night, starting at 9 o'clock, running from 9 to 11, at least that's the initial schedule slot. There's a chap called Charles Fernandez who runs a thing called Willoughby Genius. This is intriguing. He's basically built a database and an app that's got 750,000 we'll call them UK laws, even though I hate the idea of the UK, but that's what I think they're called, right? All of these things that are bearing down on you. With this app, you can basically defend yourself in any situation. And I had my first call with him on Saturday was 2.5 hours long, just shy, right? It was brilliant. No, he's a really focused guy. And he's very well organised, and he's got a large Discord group, and they're discussing this stuff, and he wants to come on and get this across. I said, yeah, look, the thing is, if we give a space to everybody, you, the listeners, can decide what fits your particular situation or not. I don't know, neither do you until you've heard it. But there's stuff, it's like hidden treasure. We've got a lot. We just don't know how much we've got until it comes out on display. One of the things he said to me today, or was it on Saturday, it doesn't really matter, was practically everybody in this nation is owed 5 to 6 grand on GDPR, General Data Protection thing. Like, for example, and this is me giving you the layman's, I only heard it once, so this is probably missing loads of details. When you've received a speeding ticket or a parking fine, for them to get to you, they had to go to the DVLA who gave up your information. They're in breach and they owe you 5 grand. They've broken the Data Protection Act, right? It's stuff like this. And you go, well, that's not a big deal. It bloody well is. If you get that, if we get it transmitted, and that's what he's doing, and his groups, he only started it, I think, in January or something of this year. He's got 600 or 700 people in his Discord group, which is fab. And he wants to come over here and do a radio version of it where it's simplified to some degree, and then you can learn more about what he's going to do. So I don't mind any of this because it's just, look, throw it at the wall, see what happens. Right, so it's not as if it's a big sort of sophisticated editorial decision. I don't know, but I'm saying I'm really impressed with the way he's organised and what he's trying to do. He was on with Mel Kate a couple of weeks ago, and I caught him there, and it just sounds really pragmatic. Now, that's a thing that everybody, should they get their dander up, could do. So, if you can insure yourself for £300 a year for any vehicle, and you can start to hammer them on every time they're sending you letters, that's what you want. We've got to be sort of like individual combatants at the letterbox. Hey, this brown, every time one of those brown letters comes through, you go, bloody hell, I'm going to make some money out of these bastards now, because that's what's needed. They have to become fearful of bullying us, which is really what they're doing. We're in the biggest bullying situation ever.
Spot on. And also, way I'm thinking about it is, surely if you're paying council tax, aren't you aiding and abetting a crime, which is illegal?
Well, that's how that guy stopped paying it. Absolutely, because they're sending that money to fund weapons for Ukraine, aren't they?
Well, not only that, our local council, they had the old Star of David up, shining on the wall of the building, supporting Israel. So I'm paying council tax for that, and they've got a Ukrainian flag flying outside the council. Yeah, and it's a Conservative council. I mean, what's that got to do with run? I didn't think the council were allowed to do that. I thought
that's in their psychological brainwashing warfare budget. isn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's to change the default position in people's heads about where they're living. Oh, I'm a global citizen now. We're all involved with all of this stuff. No, sorry, I'm not. I don't play.
Have you seen how much the local council, how much the senior bloke gets? It looks like someone's telephone number. Now, that senior person in the council should be practicing how to pick up the soap in the shower without bending down, because he should be very, very worried that I think that person is a master criminal. Mm-hmm. Because they're getting money out of it's a protection racket. No ifs, no buts. What's the difference between that and the Cray Twins protection racket and the Mafia's protection racket? No difference. You're paying a fortune for nothing. Nothing at all.
Some nice little comments here from Billy Silver on the FFT radio chat. Look at me looking at all of them all at once. He says...
Hang on, I'll have a quick look at...
Yeah, he says, a fag packet of calculation of the council tax. By the way, for American listeners, a fag, right, is not what you think it is. Over here, fag is slang for cigarettes, all right? So write the idea down on the back of a fag packet is when you get your biro out and come up with a genius idea in the pub after 64 pints of lager or whatever it is. A fag packet calculation of the council tax haul gives you an idea. Massive. It's divvied up by the private, corporate, foreign shareholders, yes. Incredibly, I hear fellow residents sympathising with the council's pleas that they haven't got enough money. This is where if we act and learn how to act locally with good direction, because we all need it, including me, I need it. I really need it, because there's so many things to look at with this thing. But it's like we were saying, maybe if you get into a cell of 3, if you can find 2 people in your peer group, you'll be able to push each other along when you're flagging a bit. Someone will pick you up, because we do.
I agree with you.
We're going to flag.
You don't want more than 3.
No, it's a long haul proposition. Yeah. But if we've got our tactics right and we know what we're doing, and I think if you stop, the spigot is them taking it out of your pocket. Right. I mean, we've got to transform the banking system anyway, but in the interim, this is a really good rearguard action to fight, because that's what we're fighting. We're fighting a rearguard action here. You might think, well, isn't it like playing violins on the Titanic? Okay, well, I'll choose that then. I'm going to play violins. At least I'll be happy when I go down. Do you know? Yeah,
I know what you mean, but you see, the thing is, I think we need government like a dog needs a bad case of fleas. Because when you look through the history of government, more people have been killed by their own governments than all the wars put together.
Yeah.
Who starts the wars? Governments. They are of no use to humanity at all. It's about time people stood on their own 2 feet and became adults. That's the real fact of the matter. We're being conditioned to believe that these bozos are there for us, for the administration of the country. It's bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's complete bullshit. We don't need them. And all this nonsense about democracy and that. No, we've got to starve the usury scammers out of existence. That's how they make their money from us. And when you look at it, why is it every political party has to be usury friendly? And if you go up to a politician, as I've done, and ask them what they're going to do about usury, my local politician, well, he's left now, but the old one, ran off saying that he doesn't speak to anti-Semolinas. Well, what's that got to do with being anti-Semolina?
It's such a big thing, the usury thing, for most people that have never been introduced to it. I mean, they're probably familiar with the word. And as a big statement, we need to keep making it. You're right to keep, we're not going to stop, are we? I mean, we're going to keep banging on about this one. I keep thinking, though, that on the sort of local level with pragmatics, it would give an opportunity for everybody to begin to have their own individual win. And having a win is a big deal, because it motivates you for the next 2 months. You go, there we go. It's going. Things are going. The energy's flying in my direction. We're being energy drained by all of this stuff, courtesy of the currency system. We're taking this out of your account. Well, in even my account, mate. I know that the bank holds it, and then we get into all these understandable but unfortunately sophisticated discussions which leave everybody cold. It's it just does. I think this is the thing as well. When you're focused in on your particular thing, it's sometimes difficult to see how unappealing it can be to the layman. You go, what are you bloody banging on about? So, but it's coming together. I think the idea, in light of that, if you sort of lose sight of things, the base position is keep pounding away. Just have faith, literally.
But
what else are you going to do?
but also looking at mass formation theory.
Yeah.
There are people. I don't want to sound conceited in saying this, but people are as thick as two short planks. They really are. Some of my neighbours are so.
Did you hear what he
dense,
said
it's
about your
frightening.
listeners? It's outrageous, Eric.
No, but 30%. Was it 30% believe everything the government says?
Yeah.
So they're dead from the neck upwards. So forget about them. And 40% go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only 30% of us that can see through it. But all it needs is 5% of the 40% to come over to us, and the government are worried.
I think
so this is what we've got to look at.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if there are, it appears to be, that's all I can say at the moment, but with the work that Robin Hood's doing, and there are others as well, Carl Deans is coming on board in a couple of weeks with the Sovereign thing. I don't know a great deal about it, but he's really sort of administratively efficient. It's this sort of attitude of focus and doing things and stress testing stuff and backing it up. It starts to make a difference. At first, it looks pretty dry proposition. You know, we want the glorious solution. Let's just throw them all out and all this. I'm not against that, by the way. I think that if push comes to shove, that'd be great. But there may be a way that we can unpick them, you know, in the sense that we become a retrovirus. I've mentioned this before, like fungus in their building. They go, bloody hell, didn't we put that out yesterday? Yeah, but there's 64 more spots cropped up on floor 1. Cool. And you go, and we're going, well, this is not coordinated, but it might not need to be in that way. In fact, if it's coordinated so much that we get central spots of what we're doing, that's how they pick you off. It's almost as if, because it's decentralized in a way, I mean, because, you know, as a bloke, you go, yeah, no, let's all get to... I do. I think, maybe you think the similar way, Eric. Let's just all get it together and sort it out. And there likely will come a point where that has to be done, but we're not... It doesn't seem to me that we're at that point yet.
Nathan Allenby, he's been a protester for years.
Yeah.
And and again, I don't wish to misquote him, so I'd like to hear it from him. I may have got the wrong end of the stick, but the way he said, what Nelson used to do with his ships, he used to go for just a few ships, separate them out and pick on them and use them like an example. And this is what the government does. They go for a few people and use them as examples to frighten everybody else.
Yep.
And they're very skilled at it. And this is why they're allowing on social media stuff showing the police going in, arresting some poor sod for saying something rude or something on social media that was very innocent. They want people to see that, to stop people speaking out. That's the thing, and that they're allowing it. And when you think about it, they're terrified. Because if people woke up overnight you go up to anybody in the street and ask them what usury is, they wouldn't have a clue. And that's the government's job, to keep people in ignorance of it. But if people knew all about it, the royals and government would disappear overnight. They go to their bolt holes. Because
the liege lord, you mean? The liege lords.
Yes. The liege lords. It's an interesting word. Was it liege lords?
Yeah, Liege, as in the root of allegiance. It means you're a serf. That's really what you give allegiance to your lord. That's what he is. He's a liege lord. And I mentioned to Robin, and I know this is, get a bit of time, get around to this. It's almost like we need a layman's lexicon of these words, right? All of them, tons of them. Really simple language so you can get it. That's what he is. This is what he should be, but he ain't that. He's this. This is why he's this. So the police force give allegiance to the liege lord. They are the henchmen on the farm. That's what it is.
Well.
Yeah, they're not. So, but as long as our perception is kept in this realm of, oh, jolly old Britain and all that kind of stuff, people don't question it. Why would they? They go, oh, in my mind, I'm quite comfortable. Yeah, mate, but they're taking your legs off. You know, so the heat is going up in the kitchen. We can see it everywhere.
The royals were voted in, weren't they? Because in the Saxon times, they would actually appoint, a bit like the way the Pope is appointed. The senior people would appoint someone to be the king or the queen. They would. For
it wasn't hereditary up to a point. It wasn't. It wasn't. As soon as it became hereditary, then you get all this fighting. It's not hereditary. I mean, basically,
also,
I think in Saxon times,
Pendragons.
Yeah, they would pick the wisest man or young man in the village. The elders would sit around and go, who have we got? We got 5 guys, okay, and they discuss it. They go, this guy's got overall the qualities that are needed, and the other 4 are going to work with him. And then they would bring them in, and because they were respected, they would appoint them, and it would work under those circumstances, you know?
And also, wasn't the Pendragons, they were the eyes and ears of the poor and the down and out. So what that would be is if somebody was had a legal problem or anything like that, they could go to the king or the queen or the Pendragon, and they would advise them, and they'd be on the side of that person. So they'd be on the side of the poor.
Yeah.
They'd help the poor. That was their job.
Absolutely.
To be the eyes and ears of the poor.
To look after the welfare of the people, which is its true role. Right. But of course, it doesn't do that. It abuses the welfare of the people. And one of the ways it does is to get everybody to have you've got to help all these other people that don't live with you. But I just passed a soldier sleeping in a doorway. What about him? You sort all that out first, right? And then if we've got a surplus and you want to go and help other people out because we don't need any more stuff, that's fine. But it ain't like that. It's just not. And this is we have a big... do you think that we've got a challenge as English or Scots or even Americans, I don't know, of looking after our own in that way? Do you think...
Yes, I agree.
I think there's a problem. I think there is. I sense it all the time. It's a bit, we have a culture, don't we, where the poor have been abused. And, of course, it's a breeding ground for communism. That's why they allow it.
Yeah.
We'll get you out of here, you poor downtrodden workers. And, of course, they then end up destroying the very thing that could have saved them. But, of course, it is also in the hands of people that are using it to abuse them. So,
Well, the thing is, I throw the word back to them. It is racist because they're starving the third world of the doctors and nurses that they desperately need, and the educated. If you believe what they tell you, that we're getting all the cream. So what's going to happen? Their countries are going to go down the pan because they've emptied all their universities and the people that's going to make the country rich into the West. So isn't that racist?
Yeah, it is.
Surely it is.
Yeah, the communists are the biggest racists on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Because they hate all races. They hate races for existing and nature showing its natural powers of discrimination, because it has, which simply means choice. That's all it means. Oh, it's got a negative term. We run a non-discrimination policy. Like I've said before, what, you're thick as shit, mate. You can't actually decide on things. I don't think I want to work with you lot. So, I mean, it's dumb. Like, everything's just been softened up. So people go blah. And there's no definition in language. That's another thing. What sounds like strong language was just normal round here a couple of 100 years ago. People just speak in a frank and forthright fashion and nail it to the door. Go, that's not on.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say that. Well, if you don't say it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get steamrolled because they rightly begin to look at you as a wimp. And we have been wimpified. There's no two ways about it. We have.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Present company excluded, of course, and all the fine listeners here. We're less wimpified, but you probably, you detect it. We've all got a sort of point at which we go, I don't think so.
Well, the fact is, what we've got in power is government attracts psychopaths and demonic entities like bees around a honeycot. And that's what we've got. Because if the government did what they said they're going to do, we'd be living in utopia by now. We're not.
We'd be certainly living in something that was balanced and harmonious, and where you could witness justice taking place far more often than corruption. It's the other way around now. The whole system, the idea, if you got justice, the idea is, well, you lucky bugger, how did that happen? And they'd have made a mistake if you actually got it without plundering your pockets along the way. It's definitely part of the whole thing.
Well,
so.
They reckon, I wasn't there, I mean, we weren't there, but they reckon that California, from about the 1930s to the 50s, was an idyllic place to live. I don't know how true that is. I mean,
I think it was. Right through even into the early 80s, I think it was. I think it really was.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Hey, it's been a cracking show. I've really enjoyed it tonight. It's been wonderful. We've had no technical difficulties apart from me with the song right at the very start, so that was absolutely down to me. I'm surprised that everything's worked. We've had really good audiences for this show on YouTube and Rumble and on FFT Radio. We've had some goodly numbers. There's also Paul's crew who picked this up, so we've gone over 100 listeners here tonight on the show, which I'm really thrilled about. It's really good. More stuff coming up on Food for Thought Radio imminently over the course of July. There's 3 new shows starting, I think, in July, so that's good. And we keep building, and by the time we get to the autumn, we could be really steamrolling along. So, Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Paul. Thanks in
Thank
absentia to Kizzi for being here. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for your patience, Eric, through the middle of the show. It was good. And much appreciated. Thanks shout out to everybody on Rumble and YouTube and in Food for Thought Radio chat. We'll be back again same time next week. Have a cracking week. Don't watch the football because none's being played. It's very silly and it's not an international. There are hardly any nations there. I think the nations that were there have all been knocked out by something else. See you all next week, everybody. Bye for now.